Lost time. Looks for Deutsch. Deutsch at the one into the end zone. A field play action. Now look to pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Cole Hebel. Intercepted by Hebel. Control. Rears back. Comes downfield. Has Rodriguez. Rodriguez at the 40 to the 50 to the 40. Rodriguez is going to keep going.
Right. Fetting's got room, and here's Bo Fetting. Fetting's still on his feet. Fetting's gone.
Looking to pass, playing off, coming left side, picked up by Cotton. Alex Cotton with the pick, he'll take it back and into the end zone.
Turn and hand the ball off. Will Starkey, he thunders his way. 30, 20, one man to beat. He's got the middle's got a man, that's Friddle. Look out, Friddle, 40, 30, he's loose, 20, 10, touchdown.
Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated is proud to present to you this broadcast on yourliveevent.com.
The journey to the Dakota Bowl starts tonight across the state of North Dakota as high school football is back for the 2022 season. This evening from Hope, the defending 9B champs and preseason number 1, LaMoure Litchville-Marion Lobos score off with a newly formed football co-op in Maple River for the Raiders' inaugural game on the football field. With that, a pleasant good Friday evening. I'm Chase Miller alongside Mac Robinson and Nathan Hoots, and this is the Irie Insurance pregame show. Today here in Hope, overcast skies, mid-70s. There will be some wind to maybe play a little bit of a factor, but we'll get to that later on here as the game kicks off at 7 o'clock. Last year, the Lobos went a perfect 12-0, defeating Cavalier in the state championship game while outscoring their opposition 50-4 on average throughout the season. LaMoure Litchville-Marion brings back 11 seniors plus 4 all-state players from linebacker Garrett Hebel, lineman Brock Wendell, tight end Colton Ness, and running back Brady Lentenmeyer. Now, coming into this evening's game, 3 Lobo players have been suspended for 2 games for violating team rules, with the aforementioned Lentenmeyer being one of those. So sophomore Owen Lesko will be the starting running back tonight for the Lobos. For the Maple River Raiders, the co-op combines the school districts of Hope Page and Maple Valley. A season ago, Enderlin Maple Valley and Finley Sharon Hope Page played each other on the football field during the regular season, and both programs made the opening round of the 9B playoffs. Now, head coach Larry Fontaine brings the Raiders into their opening act in program history for Maple River. Let's bring in our sideline color commentator. That is Nathan Hoots, who is the head football coach last season for Enderlin Maple Valley. Nathan, you're part of the girls basketball team as well. Head coach coming together with the new co-op last year here with Maple River. As boys and girls basketball, baseball has already done this swan song, so to speak, in terms of finally getting game number 1 out of the way. But what's it like going through practice throughout the first couple weeks and now playing in this season opener, Nathan?
It's a little painful dealing with hitting your guys that you're going to be playing with all year long continuously for 10, 12, 14 straight days. It becomes taxing. This is a game that everybody in blue, everybody in white tonight looking forward to finally getting to hit someone else wearing a different color.
So tonight's matchup, as we mentioned already, the number 1 defending state champ, the Lobos, 22-1 in their last 2 seasons. They have a lot of success, and it starts as Andy Delabar talking to him earlier in the week, Nathan. He said it's a benchmark game. Sure, it's a non-region game, but this is a benchmark game for how they want this season to go. What's an area or two when you look at the scout report if you're looking at LaMoure Litchville-Marion? And I'll ask the same in a little bit when you're looking at the Raiders.
I think anytime you bring in a new starting quarterback to begin a season, it starts there with Anthony Hansen. How does he follow up Corbin Potts' All-State season? I mean, Corbin was a guy that you knew his name, whether you were in the Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, you knew who he was. You knew what he brought to the field because he did it for 2 straight years. Like you said, 22-1 over 2 straight years. Beyond impressive. How much is Coach Andy Delabar going to rely on him and ask of him in this first start as a quarterback of this premier program?
And the one thing that I see Coach Delabar, he's at the 45-yard line looking at what Maple River is running because, quite honestly, Nathan, it's a new coaching staff, right? A little bit here. There's some new players. There's new teams. So you're trying to get as much advantage because I'm sure he's going, well, we can take a look at what Finley Sharon Hope Page did last year in terms of what Larry Fontaine might want to do, but also who are some of the players, and is this going to be a spread offense? Is it going to be a wishbone offense? So I think he's trying to get as much intel here in the pregame right now.
Absolutely. We got no film to go off of in this first game. It's beyond frustrating for a coach because you know that Andy puts in all of the work, all of the time watching film based on how prepared and how good his teams have been. So going into a season, getting 20 minutes of pregame to watch what they're doing has got to be extremely frustrating. And I know I did the exact same thing. My coaches did the exact same thing. This is the only scouting report you have in game 1.
That again is Nathan Hoots on the sidelines. Coming up on our Irie Insurance pregame show, we'll take a look at games across the region, our starting lineups, and we'll hear from both head coaches. First up is LaMoure Litchville-Marion head coach. That is Andy Delabar, and we'll hear from Larry Fontaine as well. It's the number 1 Lobos and Maple River Raiders tonight from Hope, North Dakota. This is the opening act in the 9B football season on your live event.
Honesty, loyalty, integrity. At Bank North, we've remained true to these values for generations. They shape the way we do business, work with customers, and support our communities. We've been here for more than a century, helping people grow farms and businesses, finance homes, and pursue their dreams. It's values-based banking, and it's all about working together to strengthen the common threads that bind us together. Bank North, always true.
Serving Mahnomen and the surrounding communities for 34 years, it's Brigham and Super Value, your hometown grocery store in Mahnomen. Stop by today. Great weekly specials, delicious fresh produce, along with baked goods that are baked fresh daily, and a fully stocked meat department. Great deals. You'll find them at your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value. Celebrating 34 years, it's your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value in Mahnomen.
Now it's time to jump into our Coach's Corner. Join us is LaMoure Litchville-Marion head football coach. That is Andy Delabar. And Andy, I know you're ready for 2022, but I'm sure a lot of people have still said congratulations. What a run, undefeated title in 2021. A cool storyline, I think, is the family affair that comes with it, or maybe family ties from 1991 to 2021. You have a player, Garrett Hebel, and his dad is an assistant coach as well, and Matt Hebel. As much as winning a championship and bringing home a state title, how much is the family aspect part of it too, Andy, from a coach's point of view? Kind of fun to see as well.
Yeah, it's a lot of reflection here early on. Just quickly to talk about last year, and really let that soak in again, and just again get us back on focus for 2022. But yeah, looking at what Matt and Garrett and Kale were able to experience as a family, to be able to have their names on a state banner, whether it was from 91 or 2021. Pretty special for that group, and just the family of our community too. I think that's the other aspect, that we have a lot of people that came back and reflected on that 91 state championship, and they wanted to witness that 2021 championship, and we're certainly a part of that here now too. So real neat deal. It's a family of guys that are on that banner that will never go away.
The one thing too, Andy, anytime we get into the first game of the season, it's who have you lost? Who's coming back? What are some experienced members? Obviously, two guys that jump off the page from last year that had a ton of success in your program. Corbin Potts, a first-team All-Stater. Charlie Bowman as well, a second-team All-Stater. But what did not those two guys, but that senior class hope to leave for the next junior class that's coming into this season here, Andy?
Yeah, I think that's something every senior class we've had, since we've been in this program, has been to leave it better than you found it, or just even just saying, hey, this is where we want you to pick up and go from here. And so I think that's what those guys represent. All those seniors, and Corbin and Charlie were two very talented athletes, not just football players, but good athletes. And so, something for this senior class here now this year in 22 to pick up where they left off, lead the team, lead by example, and also just hold your teammates accountable to do what's best for the team, and just do their job come Friday night. Just take care of business, and we bring a lot of guys back, but reflect back on last year as to how that senior class led. Let's improve on that.
You mentioned bringing a bunch of guys back, and anytime, I don't care what level of football you're in, when you can get double digits in seniors coming back, that obviously hopefully means there is experience on Friday Night Lights at the varsity level. One of those guys that kind of erupted in Buffalo a couple of years ago was Colton Ness, came on the scene, had a phenomenal game. And there's some other guys in the senior class you're going to rely on throughout the season as well, Andy. But what is one or two players that you're going to say, hey, if you can do your job, if you can take care of business like we have been able to do the last couple of years in the region, hopefully get a good playoff spot, and we'll see what, October, November brings. Who will be some guys that are going to be, if the Lobos are playing well, it's probably because of one or two particular players, Andy?
Yeah, that list can really extend. It's hard to just pick a couple out of those names, but yeah, Colton Ness is for sure one. This coming off another all state year as a tight end, and he's going to be just a guy. His presence on the field alone will make teams change their identity a little bit on defense. The other guy that I think is a part of that is Anthony Hansen coming in playing quarterback here now. Filling some pretty big shoes, but what Anthony also brings different from last year is just a little bit more of the run game. So I think it's gonna be a different look, but it could be a better look here for us overall for him at quarterback. Garrett Hebel on defense. He's another guy who's feels like he's been in this program and in this defense here now for a decade, but he's a very seasoned linebacker. And just leading that defense there too for Garrett to do that. Otherwise up front, Brock Wendell, Wyatt Waite, those are two guys here returning on both the defense and offensive line. I'm looking to see a lot of good things out of those. Wyatt Waite, especially, he came into fall camp looking way better than he did last year, just physically. And I think he's even more focused here now going into his senior year now too.
Your opponent, it's a non-region game to start. So obviously you want to start with the win, but at the end of the day, it's also an interesting non-region opponent because Maple River, a formerly new co-op, Andy. So can you really take a look back at what maybe Larry Fontaine was able to do in previous years, or who some of the guys were with the Enderlin Maple Valley co-op? Or is it, hey, we're just going to see what the first quarter kind of brings, worry about ourselves and make adjustments as we see them during the game? How do you go about it, Andy?
Well, first off, we know Coach Fontaine is going to have them coached up well. They're going to be fired up to play us, and they're going to play a physical, fast football game. And I think that's what they've relied on in the past. And however they do that, I think the expectations, we know they're going to be well coached and ready to play. And so we'll take a look back at last year's film and kind of have an idea of what their identity will be. But that's what makes this first game fun, because again, we don't look the same as we do last year either. So it'll be a fun game. Like I said, I know that Coach Fontaine's gonna have them ready to go.
Last thing for you, Andy, before we let you go, game number one, we always hear game one, game two are the biggest leaps, but for game number one with some guys in maybe different places than what they were a year ago, as a coach, what do you hope to gain out of 4 quarters of football as the season progresses here, as we get into September and October here in game number one?
Just to set the benchmark for the season. This is whether it's a region game or non-region game, I think it's every week we look to improve. And if we can set that bar high here on Friday night, that we're going to certainly put ourselves in a position here to improve even more throughout the season. And you're right, seeing some new bodies out there, some new guys, that's going to give us a fresh look. I think Owen Lesko is a kid that's going to come in and really turn some eyes as a sophomore. I think people will recognize that we have some pretty good overall team speed, and guys like Tate Mark too, that I think can really flash on both offense and defense and in the special teams game. So I think we look to set the benchmark for the season. Where are we at here today? Let's set that bar high so that we can look to improve and raise that bar every week.
Hey, Andy, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here tonight against the Raiders.
Hey, thank you.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but can also help with any auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Triple E Incorporated in Page is cheering on the Spartans as they compete both on and off the field. You've put in the effort to build a team with trust, experience, and the ability to accomplish your goals. The team at Triple E Incorporated is built the same way, with knowledge and experience that you can trust to get the job done with timeliness and efficiency. For your next non-residential building project, contact Triple E Incorporated 701-668-2258 or stop by the office in Page. Make your next project a winner with the team from Triple E Incorporated of Page, cheering on the Finley Sharon Hope Page Spartans.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you. Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement. Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
Your hometown agent, Tatum Brandt, would like to wish the Lobos the best of luck this season.
Game number 1 here, Larry. It's a non-region game as well, but it is a season opener. As a competitor, you want to win every game, obviously, when you go out there. But from a coaching point of view, win, lose, or draw, so to speak, what do you hope to gain out of the first 4 quarters of a season opener, whether it's a newly formed co-op or a team you've been around for 10 years? What do you hope to gain in game number 1 of the season?
Well, let me answer the first question, the new co-op. I mean, these kids last year played each other in a pretty spirited game, and we beat Maple Valley 18-0, but it was pretty spirited. It was pretty hard hitting. And, you know, these kids don't have any grudges. These kids have came together and they all want to win. They realize that, you know, it's to win, they're going to have to unite as a family and be one. And they've accepted me as a coach. You asked that. They don't know me from Adam either, and they've accepted me from camp, and they're very respectful, and they're great kids, and Coach Hoots did a great job with them, and I like them. Great kids. Lots of talent, and we had a meeting yesterday, you know, afterwards. I'm like, this co-op is a good thing. It's, you know, without it, you know, we would have struggled getting numbers and whatnot, and maybe Maple Valley as well, but us and Hope Page family, we would have struggled. And we're a better football team with the co-op, and the kids realize that, and there's been no animosity. It's been a lot of fun. We practice in Hope on Mondays and Thursdays, Buffalo on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and we're making it work. You know, the boys are getting up at 5:30 to get to Hope at 6 o'clock so we can get to Buffalo at 7 o'clock for practice, and vice versa in Tower. And the kids, I don't hear any complaining. And as coaches are just going to be there to get the most out of our coaches' ability or our kids' ability, and we're just going to, you know, be there for our kids. And be honest with you, the co-op has worked. Now, for the second question, I just want to stay healthy. One, I hope we could escape LaMoure, not getting beat up too bad. 2, we had a really good practice yesterday on offense. So we ran our offense. We didn't have any offside penalties. Kids went on 2, and that's a big struggle. You can't always go on 1. You got to go on set. You got to go on 2. And we didn't have any offside penalties, no up downs, no running because of mistakes. They had a really good practice yesterday. We're trying to see who can play where, I guess, that first game. You really don't know a football player until you see them on the field. When you see them on the field, when they're hitting and they're getting hit and they're getting up, then you see a football player. Football is a tough game for tough people. And there's football shape and then there's in shape. And football shape is not in shape. And we'll find out what kids are in football shape and what kids really want to play football. And we're hoping that we can give LaMoure a really, really good football game.
The one thing here, Larry, as you continue to move on into this season with the Raiders to have success, and I know the regions have kind of moved around with some teams in maybe a different area than maybe what they've been in before, but who will be some players do you think that, hey, if we're doing well, that you might rely on, whether it is a former guy that's been quarterback that's now on the line, or maybe there is a skill player that, hey, if we can get him 5-10 touches outside, there might be a good chance to, you know, break a tackle or 2 and get it for 6. Is there anyone that comes to mind early of what you've seen in a couple of weeks of practice here, Larry?
Yeah, we've got some talented, skilled players. Clay Holvison is a senior from Tower City, Maple Valley. Very talented kid. Marty Rohrback is a grinder. He's a rodeo dude. That's all I got to say. He's just tough. And rodeo dude, he bucks horses. I mean, kid's tough. Our quarterback has got a nice arm. His name is T. Sealing. And we have a really good set of wideouts and T's brother Wyatt, who's a senior, and Steven, I call him Dragoon because I don't really know his name. His last name, I just called him Visor at camp because he had the visor. And now it's stuck with Dragoon. But kid's got gloves. He catches. He reminds me, I tell the kids, I date myself. Yeah, you're Lester Hayes or Fred Blintnikoff. And when the kid's got hands, he can catch. And we have Dylan Reamer that comes over from Hope, who is going to carry the ball and take the load off of Clay's hands. And Connor Dahl is a young kid that is tough as nails. And he's a Page kid, Hope Page. And he'll play fullback, also a guard. He's a little guy, but he's quick and he's tough and he likes to hit and he's got that mentality. And we might make him a guard too, but he's a really good fullback and he runs the ball really well and he'll open holes. So those kids we're looking at. We needed a center, so Calvin Satram is going to be our center for now, and we'll see how that goes. He's never really played a lot of varsity football. His nickname last year, I won't say it, but he didn't like to get hit last year, and this year he wants to play. And so, all right, you want to play? Here's the spot we're going to put you in, and he wants to play. And so, he's never played center. He played center a little bit at camp, and he played guard at camp because we needed a guard. And he wants to play, and that's the attitude I like about our kids. I should get at Connor's never played guard, wants to play guard. He wants to play. Liam, I just want to help the team out. Senior, he just wants to be good. He wants to win, play guard. And that's our quarterback last year. And then our punter last year is Kelvin. He's our punter and our kicker. He didn't do much because he didn't like to get hit, but now he's out there and we'll see what kind of football player he is on Friday when people are smacking him, and it's gonna be kind of fun to watch him. He's a tough kid. He's a big kid, and we'll see if he's got that heart, heart of a warrior that we like to say. But I'm looking forward to it. We had a junior that would have been in the mix, hurt his knee, just running routes, one of those fluke things. Caleb Dowes, and so he'll be out for a game or two. And we at first thought it was ACL, and there's a lot of tears shed because we don't want a kid tearing his ACL. And this would have been his first year getting some action as a junior, and he'll be back. And I don't know what day or what game, maybe third, maybe better. And he's got a little brother, Preston Dowes, that's going to play a little bit. He's only a freshman, but he's going to play. Decent football player. And the rest, we're going to go.
Hey, Larry, thanks so much for your time. It's going to be fun talking with you throughout the season and see how this football team continues to grow. Best of luck here against the Lobos coming up in the season opener.
Hey, I really appreciate it, Chase. We're looking forward to it. I told the kids you can't be afraid, and I honestly told them, it's an honor to play the number one team. That's something you can, when you're my age, you can tell your kids, grandkids, hey, we played the number one football team in the state that year when I was a junior, senior, whatever.
Public schools are committed to the development of all students by providing a high-quality education that is reflective of the strong values in our communities. The staff at Hope Page Public Schools work each day to enable and inspire students to achieve academic excellence and make positive contributions to our world. Learn more about Hope Page Public Schools by visiting hope-page.k12.nd.us. We are Hope Page, and we will change the world.
Farmers, are you expanding, upgrading, or want to automate? Visit with the experienced staff at Hope Electric to learn about the latest electrical systems and the newest technologies that they have developed to make your operation more efficient. Get a custom system in place with features like iPad truck loading and remote view grain storage, touchscreen controls, hazard monitoring systems, and wireless cellular cameras to protect your assets. Hope Electric, serving the agricultural and commercial industry since 1978. Visit hopeelectric.com or call 701-945-2460.
There is another way to minimize your farm's risk and protect its equity with margin protection coverage. This is Bethany Rentz, crop insurance agent with IRE Insurance. Margin protection provides coverage against an unexpected decrease or increase in operating margin. In other words, we can put a policy in place to protect you from changing input costs and crop prices on your farm. Let us help you explore this option between now and September 30th to get you covered. For more information, go to IREINS.com.
You're protected and appreciated at IRE.
It's our final segment on our Irie Insurance pregame show. For more information, go online to irieins.com. That is irieins.com. As we got about 5 minutes till the opening kick here in Hope, North Dakota. The sun is coming out. We've seen some clouds. We've seen some rain throughout the day here, and also last night even as well. But the field is in prime condition. LaMoure Litchville-Marion, the defending champs again from a year ago, and then you have Maple River, the Raiders, the co-op of the Hope Page and Maple Valley School Districts, with Finley Sharon now going with Mayport CG, and Enderlin having their own program this year in 9-man football. We bring in now again Chase Miller. Nathan Hoots is on the sideline. Mac Robinson doing everything behind the scenes with us. But Nathan, the preseason poll in North Dakota, the defending champ, no surprise, with 11 seniors coming back in the Lobos as well. Ironically, 11 first place votes. They're number one. The Cavalier Tornadoes, 3 straight years they've been to the championship, just unable to win a title. They're number 2. The Holsteins of New Salem, Almont 3. Mayport CGA, a very dangerous team at number 4. Then Grant County Flasher is the top 5. Locally, Weimar-Lidgewood is receiving votes. South Border is going to be an interesting game tonight. They have with Grant County Flasher as well, and then Mayport CG at Weimar-Lidgewood. So some intriguing games to begin the season here, Nathan. Is there a team out there that maybe we didn't mention, or maybe a team that you want to elaborate on a little more to say, hey, if they play well, once they get into the first couple weeks here, and as we continue to go to September and October, that could pose a problem that's maybe not the 2 teams here tonight in 9-man football?
Yeah, if I can't talk about LaMoure or Maple River, I got to go to Mayville and talk about them. Adding in the Finley Sharon school to that co-op is going to bode really well for them. Something that Mayville lacked and got to coach against them the last 3 years. They never really had that power back in between the tackles type of guy. And Zyler Carlson coming from Finley Sharon is going to be that guy for him. Adding to all the speed that they have and all the size they have. They got the line. Their defense is unique, and they play really well on both sides of the ball. That's someone that's going to be really tough to beat come October and November.
As we get ready for the starting lineups here, between the Maple River Raiders and LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Winning the toss was LaMoure Litchville-Marion, and they will receive as well. In a game like this, it's going to be curious with LaMoure Litchville-Marion the last couple of years, Nathan. They've been a team that wants to get up and get going, and I think we're going to see that from Maple River a little bit as well. They got a lot of speed on the outside that they want to have an opportunity to see their players make plays in space. So how do you kind of see on a keys to a game in this one particularly, what needs to happen on a Raiders side and what needs to happen on a Lobo side here tonight?
Yeah, I think, starting with LaMoure, how does their defense follow up the historic season that they had from a year ago? You mentioned earlier, 54 points they allowed last year in 12 games. 8 times they had shutouts. I mean, you can't possibly top that. What's going to happen the first time Maple River finds the end zone tonight? How are they going to respond? Are they going to respond well like a champ does? Or are they going to, despond it and feel bad for themselves and then start saying, oh, it's just a non-region game, let's not worry about it? All right, and then you go to the Maple River side of the ball, and you got a brand new starting quarterback. T. Silling, he played some second halves last year, but he got every single scout team rep all season long last year. He ran scout team spread, he ran scout team triple option and wishbone and everything. This guy's got 0 starts of experience, but he went against one of the best 9-man defenses in practice every single day last year. I think the combination of him along with the running backs that we got in the backfield of Maple River, I think they have an opportunity to give the defending champs a scare here early on. It's going to be really important. How are they going to respond in the first quarter is the question that needs to be answered early on.
It's going to be one of those things, again, when you play against a team like the Moore, you don't want to chase the game. If you have to chase the game against them, we've been talking about, to your point, Nathan, from last year, what they were able to do. A lot of games they had running time in the second half. And if you start getting running time in the second half in 9-man football, it's very tough to come back from in a game like this. Talking with both coaches, again, a benchmark game is what Andy Delabar said. And on the opposite side, Larry Fontaine said, hey, I told my wife, someone's got to play the defending champs. Why not us? And that's a great mentality to have, Nathan, going into this game.
Absolutely. Getting to have some inside information, talking with some of the guys from Maple River, they were excited to have this game 1. one. It's something that you want to check off the schedule right away. And you don't want that looming for 6, 7, 8 weeks during the season going, oh, when are we going to get them? No, let's get them out of the way right away. Let's throw the first punch and see what happens.
When we come back, we'll get to the starting lineups as they've been introduced on the field, but we will introduce them here, and we'll get to the opening kick as well. It's the 9B regular season opener for the Raiders of Maple River and the Lobos of LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, Chase Miller, Nathan Hoots, and Mac Robinson. That does it for our Irie Insurance pregame show. When we come back, we have opening kickoff to the 2022 season next on your live event.
Drugstore reminds you, from school supplies, greeting cards, or prescription requests, you can find it all at LaMoure Drugstore. They deliver any day of the week upon request and will answer any general health questions you have. Watch out for the monthly flyer for monthly sales. Let LaMoure Drugstore be your one-stop shop. LaMoure Drugstore is located in the center of LaMoure in the Bank North Mall. For more information, go to LaMoureDrugstore.com. That's LaMoureDrugstore.com. LaMoure Hardware carries your everyday items for plumbing, electrical, automotive, and more. From painting supplies, power tools, or outdoor cooking, LaMoure Hardware has you covered. Plus, with Sweet Pickens and Super Value Grocery, a part of LaMoure Hardware, they're your community one-stop shop. Check out the Sweet Pickens section for local furniture and decor. And for more info, go to Sweet Pickens' Facebook page. For more information on all services that LaMoure Hardware offers, go online to LaMoureHardware.com. That's LaMoureHardware.com.
Larson Parts and Repair Inc., Highway 59 in Bijou does it all. They provide full shop services for your tractors, combines, trucks, pickups, and cars. Their tire department carries a full line of name brand tires, and they've got state-of-the-art alignment equipment. And don't forget about the parts department. They have parts for just about anything, right down to your lawnmower. Call today, 218-935-2774. Larson Parts and Repair Inc., Highway 59 in Bijou.
Welcome back to Hope, North Dakota, as we get ready for the 2022 season. The cannon's been fired in Hope, so you know it's time for game time here for 9B football. LaMoure Litchville-Marion, head coach by Andy Delabar, and the Maple River Raiders, head coach by Larry Fontaine. Larry again said it's an honor, and you can't be afraid to play the #1 team in the state. Something you can tell your kids down the line one day. On the opposite side, sent the benchmarker was the tone again for LaMoure Litchville-Marion, who's going to be without 3 players here for breaking team violations. Brady Lettenmeyer, Carl Guard, and also out of Sage Gusas. So you're going to have the sophomore Owen Lesko will be in the running back here to start for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. The Lobos won the opening coin toss and elected to receive as we get things set and underway right on time here just at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. LaMoure Litchville-Marion clad in their white uniforms with black bottoms. On the opposite side for the Raiders, out in their all blue uniforms and tops, white numerals and lettering with the white helmet with the numeral on the left-hand side. The kickoff is at the 40-yard line. If it goes into the end zone, it is an automatic touchback in high school football. 4 12-minute quarters as we get things ready to go and get things lined up. The opening kick is up and end over end by Calvin Satchel. That'll be picked up at the 10-yard line here for the Lobos with Gunnar Theolgis, who breaks a tackle. He's at the numbers near sideline 40. Look out, and Theolgis goes to the 45. A nice open field tackle by Liam Satchel.
And get those first kickoff jitters out of the way. Now we're ready to break down and make a play on defense and see what happens.
A 35-yard return here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion as they will begin at the 45-yard line, going from the north to the south end zone here for the Lobos. They're big up front. Brock Wendell, the All-Stater from a year ago at 5'10", senior at 195. Ryder Wendell, a junior at 5'11" at 175. He will be on the center, and then Brock will be the right guard. And then you also have Waits the center at 6'1", 260 with a pair of windows bookmarking him. I formation under center, the senior Hanson. Hanson gives the handoff. This goes right up the middle for about a good solid yard for Owen Lesko. And coming in on the tackle here for the Maple River Raiders, that looked to be coming in on that one, looked to be Dylan Reamer.
Combination of Reamer and Hovelson, I think, is going to be a really nice 1-2 punch in the middle of the field for them. Interesting to see. No safety over the top. The Raiders electing to play man across the board. See what happens. That puts Ness one-on-one right now, the outside backer for the Raiders.
And you have Tate Mart. Tate Mart is by himself on the outside pitch play. This goes to Lesko. Lesko tries to cut back in, gets to about the 49-yard line. Then he's hogtied there by a pair of Maple River Raiders, one of those being Marty Rohrbeck.
Rohrbeck made an absolutely outstanding play there. His job, make sure that no one gets outside of him. He went completely vertical, went sideline to sideline, cut him back inside, and great fill by our linebackers there.
2 carries for about 3 yards so far for Lesko. Ball at the 49-yard line at the far hash. One wide receiver to the near sideline is Tate Mart. Dotting the I again is Lesko, the fullback, all-stater from a year ago in Garrett Hebel. Play action. Here comes Anthony Hansen. Rolls into the flat. Open is going to be Hebel at the numbers 40. He's to the 30, and he keeps going to the 25 before he's pushed out of bounds there. What a play of 25-plus yards, and they'll give him 27 first down, Lobos.
Tate Mart known for his big playability, but right there, his downfield blocking probably got the Lobos another 15 yards after the catch there.
And that's just old school I formation. You just roll out the quarterback, you leak out the fullback, and if it's open in the flat 9-man, as you know, Hoots, you got a lot of room to run.
So much space in 9-man football. You got nowhere. If you're playing man and one guy gets beat, it's over.
Here comes under center again. It's Anthony Hansen. We'll get to the Raiders defensively here in a moment. Connor Dahl right now on the back end. This one goes to Lesko. Lesko makes a cut on the inside, and he gets wrapped up there. That's by Marty Rohrbeck for a couple of yards, close to the 20 as the Lobos are knocking in on the red zone.
The ends for the Lobos right now are doing a great job of pushing the Raiders' defensive ends up the field, creating those big old gaps, and the Raiders cannot match up inside. Guards and center versus the tackles of the Raiders is a big advantage for the Lobos right now, and they're creasing them.
As Maple River is Riley Beset, a junior on the interior right now. On the outside, you got a pair of Sillings and Wyatt and T at the defensive end spot. This one, shotgun. Hansen has him back. Colton Ness to the end zone. Touchdown, Lobos. 20 yards, pitch and catch to Colton. As that's going to be the reigning first-team All-Stater from a year ago, and Colton Ness, the senior, starting off like he did last year with a touchdown.
Great job by the Lobos establishing the run and then getting those backers to suck in, even though you know you got Ness man-to-man. He cannot get beat. You saw 12 retreating as quickly as possible. Rohrbeck just couldn't close off the space.
Pass of 20 yards again goes Hansen to Ness, and now the two-point conversion. These 2 points can be all the game that makes the difference in a tight ball game. This goes into the end zone looking for Ness. That'll be nothing. And after the opening 2 minutes and 13 seconds, it's LaMoure Litchville-Marion 6, Maple River scoreless. We're back after this here on your live event.
Moving forward with the plan to build a new pre-K classroom, community fitness center, and gymnasium with locker rooms. The classroom will provide more space for a growing pre-K program. The fitness center will provide opportunities to benefit all Maple Valley communities, and the gym will allow more opportunities for all activities of the Maple River Co-op. Plus, the plan is to build with no new taxes. Contact the business manager to see how you can help make this a reality today at 701-749-2570.
The Maple Valley Parents Organization is an organization whose main purpose is to support all Maple Valley student activities and to promote a healthy environment and attitudes for the youth. Their aim is to encourage growth and interest in these areas by supporting them in a sportsmanlike manner. The Maple Valley Parents Organization is open to anyone. If you'd like to become a member or see upcoming events, like their Facebook page by searching Maple Valley Parents Organization on Facebook.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan?
As we come back here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion, a drive that went 55 yards, 2 minutes and 13 seconds off the clock, as you're going to have Anthony Hansen out at the 40-yard line, ready to kick things off. He is the quarterback as well, and Hansen did a really nice job going for Hebel for 27, and then you have Ness for 20 yards with that touchdown as well. It goes 2 for 2 for 47 yards that drive with a touchdown. The right-footed kick goes end over end. Here goes to the Raiders, and that one's going to be to the outside for about 6 yards on the return is Dylan Reamer, but still good starting field position here for Maple River as they will be north of their 30-yard line.
You know, you mentioned it right before that two-point conversion play. Sometimes it's just as big to you as a coach and as a team. If we get a stop on that too, it's only 6. All right, we can deal with 6. 8 is hard to come back from. So, you know what? Moral victory on the first possession. You forced him into a third down. All right, you had one mental mistake letting Ness sneak down the flats. But now we got the ball, see what happens.
And for the Raiders here, they'll be coming out as they will be having a shotgun formation with T. Silling. The sophomore steps back, has some time. Now he's going to tuck and run. He's at the 35-40, and then he gets pushed out of bounds close to first down territory, and it looked like T, the sophomore, showing his wheels, got very close to the opening first down potentially here for the Raiders, as that's going to be right at the line to gain at the 44.
You know, LaMoure runs one of, if not the most unique defenses in all of nine-man football. They'll put two tackles in, and then they got two ends that line up like wide nines, old school Philadelphia Eagles, way out there. Sometimes they only come with two. If the Raiders can block 3-on-2 and the Lobos don't bring pressure, they could be in for some yardage tonight.
Got Hovelson in the back with Silling. Silling looks to the right-hand side, throws it, and that's incomplete. Dangerous play as Owen Lesko is right there as they try to thread the needle that time. Coming across the outside was Dylan Reamer, makes it 3rd down and inches here for Maple River.
Reamer turned into a defensive back right there, preventing the interception and the big play that could have been a dagger early on. But good blitz pickup by Hovelson in the backfield there. I don't know if it was necessarily a blitz or a missed block. Either way, he kept Silling clean.
As the line is going to be Trader, Satcham, and Satcham. That's Calvin and Liam up front here for the Raiders to start. Wide receivers split out both to the right and left. Going to be a little bubble screen to the right-hand side. Gain the first down and some to the outside. Here is Wyatt, and Wyatt spins his way into Lobo territory down at the 40-yard line for a 16-yard connection. Younger to older brother.
It's been quite the connection. Like I said last year in the pregame, all last year, Silling ran the quarterback for us on scout team, but guess who he was throwing to every single day? His brother. So that connection has not just been happening for this year. It happened last year, and you know it happened in the backyard in Valley City and in Tower City their entire lives.
And one thing Larry Fontaine said in our pregame show, we might not be the biggest up front, but if we can get the ball out to our playmakers, look out, and we saw it right there. In the shotgun again is T. Silling. He's back at his 45. Handoff goes up the middle and getting about a yard before getting met right in the middle. Brock Wendell, the All-State lineman, for about a gain of 1.
Wendell took on 2 Raider O-linemen plus the back coming through and took all 3 of them on and made the play in the backfield.
So you got Hovelson there for a gain of 1 up front for the Lobos. Wyatt Waite and Brock Wendell are the defensive linemen. And then, as Nathan said, at times 4 linebackers of Hansen, Steffes, Garrett, Hebel, Lesko in the back. And it's Ness, Mart, and Blaze Isaacson to start things off here for the Lobos. Shotgun formation. Little pop pass goes to Hovelson in the flat. Hovelson puts the helmet down and tries to barrel roll Anthony Hansen. Able to get about 2 yards on the pitch and catch. It's now 3rd down and 7.
See the difference so far. LaMoure ran virtually the exact same play when they had that 27-yard gain on 3rd down. The difference was Mart made that block downfield. The Raiders guy on the outside right there, he did not execute the block, and his guy made the play. That's the difference.
3rd down coming up here. Ball at the 37-yard line near hash. The Raiders will need the 30-yard line, but so far a nice little drive-by and answer for the Raiders. At the 8-minute mark here in the first quarter, it's 6-0 LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Shotgun formation for T. Silling again in the gun. The Lobos, they're going to bring 3. Has to step up and tries to evade a sack. He does, still on his feet, and here comes the Lobos to take him down is Braden Steffes, as T tried his best to keep things alive, but the pocket collapsed, and the Lobos prevent a big first down opportunity, but still 4th down. And what does Larry Fontaine do?
First big decision of the year for Coach Fontaine. You got the wind behind you. You could punt it, pin him deep, but you understand the offense you're going against. Is this take a chance territory?
It's going to be a question because Calvin Santrum is the punter, but we don't see Santrum in the back. Now, that's not to say that T can't punt, but we'll see what happens. Again, they need the 30. Twins left and right. The Lobos going to bring forward. T steps up, throws it down the field as a man, incomplete at the 15-yard line to Wyatt Silling. He had a great throw there, had to drop it in the bucket, unable to do so. Colton Ness on the coverage as well. With him there was Owen Lesko. Turnover on downs for the Raiders.
It's tough there. One-on-one, you want to throw it to the guy that's got the height advantage, but Tate Martin might be the best cover corner in the entire state. So you got to take your chance. You got probably 3-4 inches of height differential there. Hopefully come back to it later and see what happens.
7:15 left to play in the first quarter. Opening drive for the Raiders goes a turnover on downs, but they did some nice things, though, however, for Maple River. Now it's time to buckle down against this Lobo defense, who now will go to the shotgun. Hansen, little speed option, goes up the middle. Hansen able to jump over a pile, kind of looking like he's got his hurdling shoes on there for 6 yards. Ball at the 45-yard line.
Raider D lineman laying on the ground. 2 of them got pancaked right there, just creating a giant seam for the quarterback. Now you start to think, you don't want to waste the entire quarter if you're the Raiders when you have this wind at your back. You're as a Lobo coach, you're probably thinking, hey, let's run this thing down. Let's flip the field and get to the second quarter.
And for the Lobos up front again, 260, 195, 175. There is Levi Trader again for Maple River, the junior defensive tackle at 6'2", 215 in the middle. Part of that also with him in Riley Bassett. Handoff. This one goes up the middle. Lesko gets taken down. Nice ankle tackle there by Connor Dahl. He likes to hit people, and he showed it right there with a 3-yard gain, but a nice ankle tackle by Dahl.
Great read. He got in there in a hurry. He beat the lineman to the spot and made the tackle immediately.
Jace Miller, Nathan Hoots with you here. Also behind the scenes, Mac Robinson, one of the newly formed members of our Your Live event staff. Looking forward to working with Mac throughout the year. Show him the North Dakota hospitality. He is from Ohio, but we don't want the Guardians to play well against the Twins. Here's the QB sneaker. This one goes to Hanson. And Nathan, I think that's one of the toughest ones to go up against. A quick snap there for Hanson, who just needed a yard, and he got some on top of that.
Absolutely read my mind. The now defunct Maple Valley Enderlin co-op probably led the state in quarterback sneak attempts last year. I am all about that because you just simply can't put enough guys on the line. A quick snap, if you don't have a guy right over the center, you got 2-3 yards easy. It's so difficult to defend in 3rd and short in 9-man football.
1st down and 10 as they're inside the Raider territory again with 5:40 left to play in the 1st quarter. One wide receiver splits out to the near sideline. It's going to be a pitch play to Tate Mart. Mart gets the numbers. He's got the wheels to the 45. And he's going to be taken out and thrown out of bounds there. Mart awfully close to a 1st down. Maple River on the tackle, and Steve Drogan.
About 2 yards short. The difference between the sweep getting stopped for a 2-yard gain early, and then that one right there is that the end got ridden all the way out to the sideline with a great double block by the Lobos, and then it's 7 instead of 1.
How tough is it, Nathan, going up against a spread, then all of a sudden a I formation defensively?
It's so difficult. You almost during the week have to have an automatic call. You see that, you immediately shift into a different type of defense, going from a 4-man front to a 3-man front, even maybe a 2-man front just to get more backers out on the field.
Hebel at fullback, play action, rolling out. They got Hebel on the flats again. He's got the catch of the 35, and we've seen that play happen once. Hovelson in on the tackle, able to get about 7 yards on the pitch and catching another 1st down here for the number 1 rated team in the state in LaMoure, Litchville-Marion.
It's the same type of play that got him 27 in that first quarter drive that resulted in a touchdown. This time it was defended extremely well. Everybody was on their guy. A great pass can beat great defense any day.
As the Raiders right now 4-man front, and again 1 man on the outside going one-on-one against Tate Mart. Anthony Hansen goes back under center for the Lobos. Handoff, Lesko's got a lane, gets it up to the outside, picks up a block, and look out, Lesko, the sophomore, to the 10, to the 5, end zone, touchdown, Lobos, but hold the phone.
It's coming back.
There is a flag on the play, and that would be our first flag of the day, Nathan. What'd you see?
It's definitely a hold. Initial first grab was fine, and then the guy beat him, and he decided to grab him, even though the man was about 15 yards outside of him and would not have made the play. The guy on this sideline, along with the umpire right in the middle, is looking right there.
So the spot was at the 23-yard line, and high school, college, and also the NFL is a little bit different with how the plays are called in terms of even officiating. As you know, Nathan, there's not the, hey, let's throw it 50 yards down the field and get it spotted for a pass interference like in the pros, but also in high school football, just because there is a certain penalty doesn't also necessarily mean it's a 1st down either, depending on what the call is throughout a particular game.
Yep, roughing's the only thing, kicker, holder, and quarterback, the only thing that's going to result in the 1st down here in high school football.
So 1st down and 11, ball at about the 33-yard line, little read option. This one goes to Lesko, and Hovelson able to get the first part there, and then he gets taken down by Levi Trader, but there's a couple more yards, and we're starting to see the interior line play of the Lobos opening up some holes for the sophomore Lesko here on this drive.
First read play of the day for the Lobo offense. They read the end on my side of the field over here. The end for the Raiders did a great job of staying home and making that quarterback give. Just a little quicker fill is what they need.
4:20 left to play here in the opening quarter. It's LaMoure, Litchville-Marion 6, Maple River. The Raiders scoreless so far. Shotgun formation, 1 wide receiver split out either side here for the Lobos, with Isaacson split out to the near sideline. This one going to be a speed option. Pitch goes to Lesko, and Lesko gets taken down at about the 20, just enough, it looks like, to move the chains for a 1st down. And those are tough plays to go up against, and that was a dangerous pitch by Hansen, but got to a Lesko for the 1st down.
Kind of wondering here, is Coach Delabar just kind of going straight through the playbook, because now he's gone read, and then he went read option on the very next play, just playing with the ends of the Raiders to see if they can handle responsibility of taking the quarterback, forcing the pitch man to the outside contain man, and seeing if he can make the play.
9 carries so far for LaMoure Litchville-Marion for 39 yards. As the Lobos will be under center. Lesko dots the I. Hansen. We'll see what he does here. This one will be a handoff. Let's go right up the middle, and he's going to keeps the pile moving, breaks the tackle, and the sophomore slithers his way into the end zone for a 20-yard rushing touchdown. Owen Lesko, the sophomore, in for the second touchdown for the Lobos.
There's certain drills that you do where you get hit and then you put your hand down on the ground as a running back and then you continue chugging those feet. It's for plays just like that. His forward momentum had been completely stopped, but not long enough to blow the whistle, and he just kept chugging, and then it resulted in a touchdown.
As LLM will come out for the 2-point conversion, now leading it by 2 scores, and a chance to make it a 14-0 ball game here for the Lobos. Tate Mark to the near sideline here. Under center is Anthony Hansen. Hansen handoff. Let's go. And let's go. Nice job by shooting the gap in the backfield. That was Hovelson there, and that'll negate the 2-point attempt. But 2 drives, 2 scores for LaMoure Litchville-Marion with 3:28 left to play in the opening quarter. The Lobos lead it by 12.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in North Dakota, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
3 minutes and 47 seconds goes off the drive following a 55-yard touchdown drive. LaMoure Litchville-Marion with a 61-yard touchdown drive. 2 scores, 2 TDs, ironically, both via 20 yards. Anthony Hansen and Colton Ness with 9:47 left to play in the first quarter. Then Lesko, a 20-yard rushing touchdown with 3:28 left to play in the first quarter. Nathan, we said it in our pregame show, hey, you know, this is a team that you don't want to fall behind early and have to chase the game. This is not a drive that Maple River has to score on, but having a nice 3-4 minute drive, trying to get into the red zone would definitely be a nice little momentum boost here for Maple River.
This is where you're having a conversation as a staff. There's 3.5 minutes left in a quarter where you are clearly with the wind. The wind, it's not a terribly big factor, but it's big enough in high school football, and we've clearly found out in the first couple minutes here, first play, first drive of the Raiders offense, that they want to throw the ball. Are they going to take a chance but risk going 3 and out and giving the ball right back to LaMoure, or are they going to try to establish a run a little differently here in this second drive?
And the Lobos will kick off with Anthony Hansen. Other games going on tonight across your live event. All 11B football except for this one. Central Cass at Fargo Oak Grove from Fargo Davies. Park River at Hillsborough Central Valley. And Grafton up in Thompson going up against the Tommies. We will have all the Maple River home games for you here in Hope right here on your live event. And their schedule, well, after a home game, 3 straight on the road. Going to be about a month the next time we're here and hope for a home Raider football game. Anthony Hansen puts this one on the tee. A little squibbler that goes to about the 36-yard line here. And for Maple River, the Raiders able to get out of bounds on the play. And that's going to be Drogan. And good starting field position. The Raiders hit it at the 34, their first drive, and they will have it north of the 40 here to start their second.
Be interesting to see. You haven't seen the wishbone offense that we saw them walking through in pregame. Do they come out in that here, or are they going to let Silling just let her buck and throw it deep?
Well, and one thing Larry did say throughout this particular game, you want to come out of game number 1 no matter who you play healthy. That's for both the Lobos and the Raiders, because you're guaranteed 8 regular season games. And just like the coach, here comes the wishbone formation. As Nathan Hooch just said, T. Stilling under center. Handoff. This goes to Hovelson. Hovelson finds a little crease, but coming in unevaded, the all-state linebacker from a year ago, Garrett Hebel, came in and able to make a wrap-up tackle for a gain of 2.
He's a guy that gets lost in the shuffle with all the big names and all the big stats that they had from last year. He's a guy that just never misses a tackle. And he's, probably had over 100 tackles last year. And he was a guy that we actively tried to run away from. Unfortunately, they stacked their best D lineman opposite of him, which made it difficult.
Middle linebackers of Hebel and Steffes right now for the Lobos. They just seem to be everywhere. And there's a first offensive penalty. This one against the guard, Levi Trader, here for Maple River, and that'll be first penalty for 5 yards. But for game number 1, Nathan, I think if you're Larry and Andy, 10 minutes into the first game, there's only 2 penalties been combined. It's been pretty clean, at least on that front early on.
That is something that you can take away from that for sure. Something clean the first couple possessions is exactly what you want. And, Maple River's defended about 8 passes, and they haven't, held. They haven't, no pass interference. They've done a great job thus far. Man across the board with Ness sitting in the middle, ready to pick anything off that comes his way.
High snap, Silling tries to find some time, goes down the middle of the field, and that one's going to be incomplete as they were running a deep seam there, or a little post pattern to Connor Dahl, trying to thread the needle between a pair of Lobos and Blaze Isaacson, the junior, and Anthony Hansen there, and it almost got on target, makes it 3rd down. But what we're seeing is the Lobos bring in 3 or 4, and they are getting to tee, and they're getting there awfully quick.
I think first passing play, we talked about it. They only brought 2 guys. Silling sat back there, and 3-on-2, the Raiders picked up everybody. It hasn't been the case. They're either bringing someone from the outside or a linebacker right up the middle and testing the pass protection early on with the Raiders.
So now it's 3rd down and long after the penalty and the incompletion. 3rd and 12. They will need to get to the Lobo 49, 48-yard line. Silling rolls out, has a man that's going to be caught at the 48-49. The problem is that's on the Maple River side. Dylan Reamer took a heck of a hit, able to came up with a catch for about 9 yards, brings up 4th down and short.
Talked earlier about that 4th down decision. This one's even bigger.
It's going to be 4th down. Yeah, you don't want to have to go for it, then a turnover on downs and give the Lobos ball at midfield. But on the opposite side, already down by 2 scores. The old adage is how much before you get something positive or get on the scoreboard, because as we said last year, the Lobos outscored their opposition 50-4 in the regular season and the postseason during 12 games. Shotgun, Lobos bringing pressure. They got a man to the outside. That's Hovelson. Hovelson has daylight, makes a cut, looks for a block. He's at the 45, numbers 40. Still far to the 25, and he's taken down there. Oh, what a play. The blitz comes. You throw it out to a backer going out to the flat, and 25-plus yards and a 1st down.
Hey, Coach Fontaine, this summer when they went to team camp, he called me. He was like, Hoots, just wait until you see Hovelson catching the ball out of the backfield. And I've been waiting for that. And in the most important play of the first quarter, he dialed it up and caught him in a blitz. And they were shaded over this way toward the Silling boy after he made that catch in the first quarter. And that was very well executed by the Raiders.
1st down and 10, under 80 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. 4th down, yes, sir. 1st down, Raiders. Silling has some time going down the middle of the field, and that one's going to be off a hand of a Lobo and Blaze Isaacson, as they had not 1 but 2 Raiders there. And that's one of those things where maybe you look back on film and maybe one guy ran the similar route, but Tate was looking, was looking down the middle and had a couple of white jerseys and a couple of blue jerseys there, Nathan, in contention for that.
Never saw his eyes come this direction towards me. He needs to look to his right. Ness is sitting in the middle, and he's shading a little this direction. If you can get him to move just a bit, you're going to have guys wide open on this right side.
T. Silling so far 4 of 7 for 54 yards, 2 receptions by Hovelson, 29 yards, the leading receiver here for the Raiders. And the aforementioned Silling and Hovelson in the backfield right now in the shotgun formation. This one QB keeper. This one goes to T, and T gets 5 yards before he's rolled down there by Brock Wendell, the senior defensive lineman, but a good 5-yard gain there on 2nd down. 3 carries for 14 yards now, as it's going to be just shy of the 20-yard line. So 3rd and a long 5.5 for mark at 6 for those keeping stats at home.
We haven't seen a hard count yet from the Raiders. This might be the time to maybe try to sneak a free 5 here with the over-aggressiveness of those 2 D tackles from the Lobos.
40 seconds and counting here in this first quarter. And, well, right there you got it, and there is going to be a penalty on LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Nathan Hoots, I think you've been a coach before with what we're hearing from you.
Well, I mean, I'm not exactly breaking news here that you want to try to get free 5 yards in the red zone, but very well executed by the young, inexperienced offensive lineman from the Raiders, understanding the situation that you want to get yourself down to this QB sneak territory and get that easy 1st down, because in the red zone, everything shrinks, and, even you get tight and you start to worry, hey, if we don't score here, this is a problem because we don't have a kicker. So hopefully you can punch it in here and execute on 3rd down.
First red zone play here for the Raiders of this contest. T. Silling rolls to right-hand side, pops it down the field. Going to be incomplete for a second, then picked up. And that one's going to go by Tate Mart. Mart's at the 25 and taken down at the 30. It went off of Reamer's hands. Mart looked like he might not be able to hold on to it, but instead it is a interception that goes for 25 yards the other way. And the Lobos defense bends but doesn't break. And the Lobos keep the Raiders off the scoreboard.
It's the third ball that's bounced off a Raider receiver's hands here in the first quarter, and unfortunately for them, it's the first one that's gotten picked off.
That's a tough one, Nathan, because everything just felt like it was going well there for the Raiders. Able to get a fourth down, able to get that 5 yards and get a little bit closer. And you can't fault the pass. It just was one of those where a little too high for Reamer. And then all of a sudden you start getting into a juggling game and you never know who's coming down with it.
Very big play here right after a turnover. You don't want to feel sorry for yourself. The same 9 guys are still on the field. They can't feel sorry for themselves and give up a big play right down the seam.
This one rolling to the right-hand side, and getting hit hard was Anthony Hansen. You mentioned about a big play coming from the outside. Connor Dahl, textbook wrap-up right there, and Hansen trying to look for an S, had nothing. It's now 2nd and 10 with 3 seconds left in the first quarter.
He's Silling, 2 plays ago, throws a pick in the red zone. You know, you could hang your head. You're a sophomore. It's your first career start. What does he do? The next play, he gets pressure and knocks the ball down.
Defensive end spot. I mean, Silling's done really well. We said Connor's Dahl named a number of times, and you mentioned it. About 2nd and 10 here, and last play more than likely of the opening 12 minutes here in this 9B contest between the Raiders and the Lobos. Shotgun formation for Hansen, little speed option play. Hansen goes right up the middle to the 35 and breaks a tackle and then gets tripped up there at the 40. Looks to be enough for the first down, and that'll end our first quarter play with a 10-yard run by Hansen, who finishes with 3 carries for 19 yards in the opening 12 minutes. After 1 quarter play, it's the number 1 ranked Lobos 12, the Raiders scoreless. It's 9B football on your live event.
Stay up to date with the latest goings-on in the region with the Coaches Show every Wednesday night on YourLiveEvent.com.
Goes deep down the middle, has a man, Soka Porter! Soka Porter to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and taken down there.
We'll dive into the latest stories from North Dakota and Minnesota.
And there's the block by Reese.
That's the Coaches Show with me, Joe Lancello, on YourLiveEvent.com every Wednesday night starting at 7.
This is Chris Brecken from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our growers. Your trust and fellowship is the driving force behind our dedication to your successful farming operation. We continue to invest in the education of our team to ensure your customer experience is outstanding. Thank you for the opportunity to be your planter experts. Stop by either of our locations in Hillsboro or Drayton, North Dakota, or visit planterdoc.com.
Honesty.
12-0, LaMoure Litchville-Marion after 1 quarter play. Nathan, what have been some things that impressed you about both teams so far in the opening 12 minutes here of the season for LaMoure and Maple River?
I'll start with Maple River. I think the thing that concerned not only myself, but fans and coaching staff is the offensive line. They're young, they're inexperienced. I mean, Liam Satcham played quarterback for a team that made the playoffs last year, and now he's at right guard. They've done a pretty good job of keeping T. Silling upright and been able to look downfield. He's been a little skittish in the pocket because of an early hit that he took, but overall he's done quite well. Now, the Lobos, every time they line up and they want to crease you, they're getting 5-6 yards. So it's going to be interesting to see, are they tempted to just keep throwing deep to Ness and to Mart, or are they going to just continue to hammer the ball?
First down and 10 as the Lobos now will be going right to left to get across your screen, or from the south to the north end zone here in Hope. You can see Hope High School behind us, a great venue here. Got a little hill. You can bring the cards out to watch the game and enjoy some high school football. Hansen taking a shot to Ness. Look out, Ness. Get the afterburners. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Colton Ness. It goes 60 yards for his second score of the day. 2 catches, 80 yards, and 2 scores. And the senior is putting on a show.
He got off the press right off the line of scrimmage. Pretty much had a free release, and there's not many linebackers that can run with him in the state. And he's just an elite athlete, and he's been doing it for 3 years now.
Hansen, 4 of 5 for 134 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Colton Ness, 2 catches, 80 yards. And Nathan, he's bringing back some nightmares. You saw it in Buffalo 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was a scrawny sophomore that didn't make the scouting report 2 years in Buffalo. I think after that, almost every team in the state knew his name after 4 touchdowns in the first half against us.
The Lobos, they've gotten 2 scores earlier, but couldn't finish it off with a 2-point conversion. Now they'll try to hear play action. They go into the flat to the aforementioned Ness, and he's in. And Anthony Hansen took another shot by T. Silling, but no one was out in the flat. And Colton Ness able to get 6 and now 2 points, 8 points on that drive. It's 20-0 LaMoure Litchville-Marion. We'll keep it here. What does that play down the middle of the field with Colton Ness? One thing that Andy Delabar told us earlier this week, we're going to put it throughout the season, put Ness in situations that we think is a tough matchup for any team across the state. And we saw it right there with his size, with his speed, and his ability to run after the catch, Nathan.
If you line him up out wide, you're either moving a linebacker out of the box to try to match up with him physically. If you put him in at a tight end spot, he's probably going to run right by the guy that he's got lined up over him. If you decide to put a corner on him, he's just going to muscle you, box you out, and make a play. He's got to be the toughest guard in all of the state. There's no perfect way. You start to question yourself as a defensive coordinator for the Raiders here. Geez, do we got to put a safety over the top? But, Coach Fontaine has always been 8 men in the box, and we're going to play man-to-man across the board, and they're going to have to beat us. So it's going to be interesting to see if they stay married to that concept or if it's the first game of the year and they're just going to continue to do what they do and hope for better results.
The one thing here for the Lobos, we've mentioned it before about how last season they just went and hit, averaging almost 400 yards of offense. They had 83 touchdowns, for crying out loud, in 12 games last season for the Lobos, and they are starting that off again here. After today, the Lobos will play at Enderlin at Hendrickson Field and home to Hatton Northwood. On the opposite side for Maple River, after this contest, they'll go to Colfax and play the Richland Colts, then go up against the Tri-State Tigers on September the 2nd, upcoming here for Maple River. But we mentioned the last drive by Maple River. It maybe wasn't a necessarily had to score drive, but how it turned out in terms of interception returning to points. That is a big momentum swing, and we'll see how the Raiders can respond here as Hansen goes end over end on the kick. Going to pick up there at the 15-yard line, and the Raiders will get to about the 30 here on the return by Dylan Reamer. A nice open field tackle on the way by Lesko for the Lobos.
How does the philosophy change here for the Raider offense now that you're going into the win for your first possession? Are they still going to go 4 wide shotgun and let Silling try to carve them up that way, or are they going to go to the ground?
11:44 left to play here in this first half. Coming up on our halftime show, we'll take a look at the first half numbers, some of the scoring drives, and also keep you apprised of all the scores going on across the state of North Dakota. 11B, 11A, and 9B all kicking off here this Friday night. Wishbone formation here, as this one is going to go to the near sideline to Reamer, and Reamer gets about met right at the line, and nice open field tackle on the way there by Garrett Hebel. You fake one way, you come back the other way, you hope for the seal, but Hebel is just waiting in his spot the entire way, and that's good play, but also good coaching.
If the Lobo defensive line is going to win 2-on-3 battles, like they are right now, it's going to be tough. You got to force them in to bring another man either onto the line or into the box in order to exploit the defense and all the space that you have in 9-man football. And right now, they're not able to do that.
I'll see you. Speaking of space, now the Raiders will go out to their 2 wide receivers left and right in the shotgun formation here for the sophomore T. T takes a couple step drop, flips it out to the outside of Hovelson. Hovelson makes a nice juke in the inside and then gets, Hebel there for another tackle again. But we talk about putting your foot in the ground and turning. That's exactly what Hovelson was able to do. That probably would have been a 2-yard loss. Instead, it's a 5-yard gain. Makes it 3rd down and manageable now for the Raiders.
Last 4 games, or the first 4 games of last season, Carson Hovelson was a feature back for the Maple Valley Under the Falcons, but he hurt his knee when we played Wyndmere-Lidgerwood. He wasn't able to make those plays. It's so nice to see him not just make that cut, but trust that his knee is going to be able to respond to that and continue playing.
2 wide receivers again to either side. We'll see if the Lobos bring some pressure. They're going to bring 3. T has to roll out to left-hand side, getting chased down by Wyatt Wake. He takes a pop by the other quarterback there, and Hansen back to the 30-yard line. So a loss of 2 makes it 4th down and 9. But so tough, Nathan, when you're rolling to your non-throwing hand, trying to throw across your body, as we saw T try to do right there.
Missed block right off the snap, and I think he was planning to take about probably a 3-step drop and stay in the pocket, but the left guard missed his block. Immediately was pressured and forced out. Now, one positive thing to look forward to into the future, Silling did not just jog out of bounds right there. He took on Anthony Hansen, squared him up. Yeah, he didn't get any yards, but to see a sophomore quarterback in his first start, like I've said several times, take on that play right there and not be afraid, that's big time.
And our first timeout of the game goes to the Maple River Raiders here in our first half of play. Timeout on the field, 10:16 left to play in the opening half. It's the Lobos up by 20 on your live event.
Honesty, loyalty, integrity. At Bank North, we've remained true to these values for generations. They shape the way we do business, work with customers, and support our communities. We've been here for more than a century, helping people grow farms and businesses, finance homes, and pursue their dreams. It's values-based banking, and it's all about working together to strengthen the common threads that bind us together. Bank North, always true.
Out-of-town scoreboard here on your live event. Thompson leads Grafton 28-0 with just seconds left in the first quarter in 11B football. In the Central Cass Squirrels in the second quarter lead the Fargo Oak Grove Grovers 21-7. Also on your live event tonight, Park River at Hillsborough Central Valley will give you some 9B scores. I'm very intrigued in South Border and Grant County Flasher and 9-man football. The Mustangs came on a 7-win season from a year ago. Can they continue to have that here? And then on the opposite side, Mayport CG at Wymer Litchwood on the eastern side of the state, Nathan, I think is a very intriguing game from a Coach Stringy to a Coach Sola standpoint, just to kind of say, hey, Mayport CG, a top 4 team, the Warbirds receiving votes, where can they possibly have? We do have an officials timeout here as well after Larry Fontaine took a timeout for his own to make sure they had the right personnel out there for punting. But some intriguing games here, at least in week 1 in 9-man football, Nathan.
Absolutely. It's really tough as a coach not to look at, last year's results, and then you face a non-region team and you start to think, who's the type of team or who's the type of teams we could see later in the year. It's extremely possible that the Region 2 champ could be Mayville. It's also extremely possible that the Region 1 runner-up could be Wyoming. We could be looking at a first-round or a second-round playoff matchup played in week 1. And it'd be interesting to see what that score is here whenever it comes in.
Right now, after the timeout, Jason Johnson, the white hat here, is having an extended conversation with Andy Delabar, and now Larry Fontaine is coming out as well, trying to, just off the top, I still see the 5 officiating crew. Sometimes you have one official that goes down, so you talk about, hey, we only got 4 instead of 5, making sure the timeouts are squared away. But coming off, I just kind of saw Colton Ness put his hands up, not in a derogatory or way, just kind of put his hands up, I think, about maybe something that was done on the near side. So we mentioned it's been a clean game. Then all of a sudden, maybe the announcer's jinx comes into a mix a little bit there. Now the officials with Larry and Andy, and you got a conference committee going on a Friday night as we're trying to figure out what the situation is of this conversation. But as we continue to talk a little bit more, Nathan, just about 9B football. What have you liked so far here? I guess if you're from a LaMoure Litchville-Marion point of view, again, 22-1 the last 2 seasons. This is a team that just expects to make a deep run into late October, early November, and they again have 3 players that are not playing that were suspended due to team violations. One of those being an All-State caliber running back in Brady Lentenmeyer. So, what have you liked to see so far from the Lobos?
Certainly doesn't look like a shorthanded team, does it? Extremely impressive. I mean, just understanding that you're playing a team that in Maple River that I think we all understand that they're certainly going to be fighting for a playoff spot, if not hosting in that first round, the way that I think a lot of people see this region going. And to come out shorthanded and being able to run the ball, being able to pick up any pressure that Maple River's bringing and still put 20 points on in the first quarter on the road, impressive.
Well, we're on a lightning delay, so that's what they called at 7:40. And anytime you have a lightning delay, that means 30 minutes before you can retake the field. So at least from our side, I don't see any lightning going to the western skies. Nathan, you might be able to see it a little bit better in the eastern skies to say if there was a lightning strike or not. But because of anytime we talk about lightning, it doesn't matter what sport. We saw this in the Region 1 baseball championship with Northern Cass and Central Cass, where there was lightning and thunderstorms. And we thought, hey, we maybe escaped the Mother Nature, but Mother Nature now playing some games with us here on this Friday night.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. Obviously, someone saw something over here. I certainly heard it, though. It was quite the crack we had back here. So, 30 minutes from the last time it's seen, and just hope that whatever weather we have skirts around us and keeps us all safe.
So what we're going to do right now, we're going to recap what we have. We will go into our coming up screen. We will get to a lightning delay screen here coming up in a moment. But let's recap. If you're just joining us, what's going to happen. I'll just tell you this, looking at the fans across the way, I don't think too many people are too worried about the lightning because no one really is leaving the field or area except for the players because they have a half hour that they have to leave the field and the area. So the scoring recap so far. After one quarter play, the Lobos were up 12-0. The opening drive went 55 yards. Anthony Hansen went to Colton S for a 20-yard touchdown connection. A 2-point conversion was no good. It was 6-0 Lobos with 9:47 left to play in the first quarter. With 3:28 left to play in the first quarter, LLM got back on the scoreboard with a 20-yard rushing touchdown by Lesko. He broke not one, not two, but looked like a snake as he went in the end zone, slid in his way for 20 yards, made it 12-0 LaMoure Litchville-Marion after one quarter of play. And then right away after the interception, 2 plays later, the Lobos get a 60-yard touchdown pass. Anthony Hansen to Colton Ness, the same two connected for the 2-point conversion, making it 20-0 Lobos with 10:16 left to play here in this first half. Before we go to break, Nathan, as a player, as a coach, have you had to done this before? And how much from both sides of you? Because there is a halftime, but the coaches and officials could come out and say, hey, you've kind of already had your halftime, so we're maybe not going to do the full 12 minutes plus 3 minutes of warm-up. Maybe it's more of an exaggerated timeout of 5 to 7 minutes. So how as a coach, how as a player, you're getting ready, everything's going fine, all of a sudden, boom, now you got to pause for 30 minutes of game action.
Yeah, as a coach, I only had that in 11 years of coaching. I only had one lightning delay. As a player, back way in the day, had one that ended up canceling the game. But you know what? The one that we played Lisbon in Buffalo, and it was 2+ hours that we were waiting. And the conversations were happening. Hey, are we going to delay this thing and restart again tomorrow? Or we were up 20-0. Are we going to call the game right here? Do we want to finish it? How do we want to do it? But you know what? There's positives that you can take from this. It gives Maple River an opportunity to regroup with 10 minutes left. So maybe they can come out and talk over stuff that they want to really work on here and focus on. It's a free halftime. What they'll probably do, and I can't say for sure, they'll probably just make halftime 3, 4, maybe 5 minutes long, just to try to not get us out of here at 11 o'clock tonight. Let's just hope that that's the only lightning strike that we see. I'm assuming it's straight across right behind you. It doesn't look too dangerous right now, but we're not taking any chances in the first game of the year.
Let's just make sure and pop on our trusty, handy radar that we all have on our smartphones nowadays. What would we do without smartphones? Just taking a look at the radar again, 71 degrees or so. And as this continues to load, we'll just see if there's any imminent threat to what's going to happen. But you mentioned about just trying to get back and forth a little bit. From a Maple River side, we mentioned about LaMoure Litchville-Marion before the lightning strike. Nathan, final thing for you here. From a Maple River side, if you're Coach Fontaine after the opening 14 minutes, yes, the game from a scoreboard point of view hasn't gone how you wanted it. You had a decent first drive, a really good second drive, the interception. Obviously, the Lobos offense looks like they have done in previous years, which is doesn't matter the defense. They're going to find a way to move the ball and score. But what would you take away from Fontaine and the Maple River Raiders right now?
We've forced them to work on every single possession. There were possessions last year you'd turn on the film as you were getting ready for them, and you'd get literally nothing out of it because it would be kickoff, return to the 30, 70-yard touchdown, 2-point conversion is good. All right, now we're going on defense. You couldn't get anything out of that. Maple River has made them work. Yes, it's only been, I believe, 1 third down attempt, but it's been slow and methodical. And that I don't know if that's LaMoure's style, the way they want to play this year. I'm not 100% sure. They got a different quarterback under center. But you highlight every single thing that has gone well thus far. You find those points, you go to every single coach and you say, what did you see? Give me one thing that's been really, really good for us thus far in the first 14 minutes, and let's talk about that. And when they walk back out on this field, you play as if it is 0-0, and you see what happens.
That's Nathan Hoots. I'm Chase Miller. Mac Robinson doing the stuff behind the scenes. We'll take a break as well. What we expect, it was about 7:40 or so when they walked off the field and when they first called the strike, 7:42 when I looked on the phone when they officially said, okay, we're done. So if you go 30 minutes from 7:40, my Shanley Deacon High School math would say 8:10 is when hopefully we get back on the field and get things going. So around 8:04, 8:05, we will come back here on your live event and give you an update whether or not 8:10 looks to be the start time or if there is another lightning strike. What we can tell you, get some popcorn, get some water, come back. It allows you 15 minutes to use the break room. It's like an intermission. We just didn't want an intermission right now, but after the opening, 14 minutes of play. It's a number 1 rated Lobos up by 20 again, 8:05. We will come back on the air for an update. 8:10 is when we hope to get things back underway here on your live event. Stay with us in about 20 minutes.
We have some movement.
As we come back here on your live event, let's take a look at some out-of-town scores in a moment. But first, the good news is we said we give you an update at 8:05. And we are hoping that around 8:10 that the players could maybe come back on the field, give them 5-10 minutes. Who knows what the parameters would be between the coaches and the officials, but we are seeing the officials coming down a little bit more. We haven't seen, to our knowledge, any other lightning strikes. Now, behind us, there is a cloud that looks a little ominous, to say the least, but we don't see any precipitation coming down, and we don't see any, knock on wood, lightning strikes coming down as well. And then you got the sunset going off in the west. So you got a little bit of everything here in Hope tonight. But if you're just joining us right now, a lightning delay that started at about 7:40, and it's 10:16 left to play here in the first half. 20-0, LaMoure Litchville-Marion leads. And Nathan, I know you're speaking to maybe some of the officials down there. Have you heard any word or anything that might be good news instead of bad news right now?
I said as soon as they come back out, they're going to give them 10 minutes, get them warm and ready to go, just so nothing's pulled after sitting around for a little while. But I got a couple thumbs up, whatever that means.
Well, that's good news.
Yes.
I will take the good news on that one. Let's take a look at some of the first half stats here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. 134 yards passing, 59 rushing, so nearly 200 yards of offense in this first half of play. Anthony Hansen, 4 of 5 for $134 through the air, with a pair of touchdowns as well, both going to Colton Ness, the aforementioned senior tight end. 2 receptions, 80 yards. All that he does, like Chris Carter, is catch touchdowns here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Garrett Hebel, 2 receptions for 34 yards. Rushing right now for the Lobos, the sophomore Lesko, 7 carries, 42 yards with a touchdown. His last rush was a 20-yard score. Hansen, 3 carries for 19 yards. And then you have Mart, 1 carry for 8 yards. The Lobos so far, no turnovers, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, 2 penalties for 15 yards. On the opposite side for Maple River, T. Silling is 5 of 9 through the air for 58 yards and a interception. That was a batted ball. Got the pick. Tate Mart was able to come down with it. The Raiders right now, though, 7 carries for 15 yards. T, 4 carries for 12. Hovelson, 2 for 3. Reamer, 1 for 0. The leading receiver is Hovelson, 3 receptions, 33 yards. His long is a 27-yard reception. Wyatt Silling has 16 yards, and Reamer 9 yards through the air receiving. 1 penalty of 5 yards, 1 turnover so far here for Maple River. And Nathan, some out-of-town scores are rolling in here in 9-man football at the half. Mayport CG and Waimea Lidgewood tied at 16 apiece. We said that would be an intriguing game to start the season, and right now it definitely is after 24 minutes of play.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that we got tight games across the state, which is awesome because you get so much from these non-region early games. You find out who's going to step up under the lights, and find out who's going to wither and hopefully bounce back immediately. Just a lot of good things. You always like to open up the season with a game that's not ultimately at the end of the season going to count against you in the standings.
Other scores here on your live event tonight. Thompson leads Grafton 28-0 at the half. Hillsborough Central Valley with a 22-rip lead over Park River at the half for the Burros. And Central Cass over Fargo Oak Grove from Fargo Davies High School, 34-7 at the half right now as well. We'll continue to give you some more scores. This is kind of an inadvertent halftime show report. A rivalry between Rugby and Harvey Wells County at the half, 14 apiece, and 11B football. Langdon all over Bishop Ryan, 28-6 with 4 minutes left to play in the first half. And as we mentioned before, the Burros right now taking care of business against Park River area. We'll continue to bring you some scores from across the state as those continue to trickle in here this evening in North Dakota. Been a fun one to kind of see. And also West Fargo Horace and Fargo North. It's all Fargo North, 35-7 right now over West Fargo Horace. And Kindred and Lisbon, this might surprise some people just because Kindred, the defending champ, Lisbon, losing some players. Their head coach goes to West Fargo Horace. Well, it's Kindred 13, Lisbon 0, but that's at the half. So the Broncos playing very stingy against the defending 11B champs here in the season opener. Still to come, we'll get to our halftime show. We'll break down some more of the numbers. The good news is across the way we can see some football helmets, some football jerseys coming on. Nathan Hooch just gave us a thumbs up. We said around 8:10 would be the 30 minutes. And Nathan, I'm like you. I want to say I foreshadowed some things because you foreshadowed some stuff from the sidelines with your coaching prowess so far here today.
8:10 on the dot. Here come the Lobos. They said they're going to give them about 10 minutes to warm up. We're looking roughly an 8:20 kick or restart to the game. And then more than likely, we'll look at a mutual agreement between the coaches to shorten halftime so we're not here till midnight tonight.
Hey, you know what? Is there there's got to be a curfew rule in high school, right? Because I know in the old Northern League, for example, in the American Association where the Red Hawks play, you can't start an inning after midnight. You can conclude or wrap up an inning after midnight. But let's say it went extras or you had a rain delay like this and you got to the 11th inning, you can't start the 12th after midnight. So is there anything in the rule book that you've seen before, Nathan, about like a curfew rule in high school sports in North Dakota?
I have, not that I've heard of, but it is called Friday Night Lights, not Saturday morning. So I would like to be done and out of here before midnight. I would guess, with an 8:20 restart, we'll be out of here by 10 o'clock at the latest.
So what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a break. We'll go to some ads here in a moment, and then at about 8:20 again. So about 8:20 is when everything will get back going. LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, and Maple River. And where we were at on the field, you have to go back nearly a half hour ago and say, okay, Maple River had it at their own 30, more than likely going to punt because Larry Fontaine took a timeout right beforehand, trying to make a decision to make sure his personnel was out there. So we should hypothetically be seeing a punting situation coming out from Maple River, which would mean the Lobos would get the ball back. Or you take a half hour and say, you know what? Hey, let's roll the dice and see maybe if we go for it. We'll talk to Nathan Hoots about that. More still to come. I'm Chase Miller. Nathan Hoots on the sidelines. Mac Robinson doing everything behind the scenes. We're going to go to a quick break. We're back after this with the resumption of the first half after a lightning delay. It's like spring all over again. It's high school football on your live event.
Serving Mahnomen and the surrounding communities for 34 years, it's Brigham and Super Value, your hometown grocery store in Mahnomen. Stop by today. Great weekly specials, delicious fresh produce, along with baked goods that are baked fresh daily, and a fully stocked meat department. Great deals. You'll find them at your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value. Celebrating 34 years, it's your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value in Mahnomen.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but can also help with any auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Triple E Incorporated in Page is cheering on the Spartans as they compete both on and off the field. You've put in the effort to build a team with trust, experience, and the ability to accomplish your goals. The team at Triple E Incorporated is built the same way, with knowledge and experience that you can trust to get the job done with timeliness and efficiency. For your next non-residential building project, contact Triple E Incorporated 701-668-2258 or stop by the office in Page. Make your next project a winner with the team from Triple E Incorporated of Page, cheering on the Finley Sharon Hope Page Spartans.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you. Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
Your hometown agent, Tatum Brand, would like to wish the Lobos the best of luck this season.
Hope Page Public Schools are committed to the development of all students by providing a high-quality education that is reflective of the strong values in our communities. The staff at Hope Page Public Schools work each day to enable and inspire students to achieve academic excellence and make positive contributions to our world. Learn more about Hope Page Public Schools by visiting hope-page.k12.nd.us. We are Hope Page, and we will change the world.
Farmers, are you
As we're back here in Hope, as we're about 8:20 again, we're hoping to really kick quick going as get ready to play. We got about 14 minutes of game action in. There was a timeout, and then all of a sudden we heard the officials come in and say, hey, we're going to have to wait for a second, get the lightning get going, and then we'll go from there. So the lightning delay is getting ready to wrap up here, and then we'll get ready to go as we're going to have the officials coming up here in a moment just to make sure that everything is done and probably tell us a little bit more about halftime as well on top of it, because there more than likely will be a reduced halftime. Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just talked to the white hat over here. He said mutually agreed upon 5-minute halftime. So it'll just essentially be an extended quarter break, but we are starting to get a little bit of precipitation. So hopefully that holds off, and it's just some light rain here. But yeah, 5-minute halftime is what they're going to go with, just to try to get things going a little bit earlier.
Okay, so a 5-minute halftime will be coming up here. So again, a reduced, and well, there comes the rain as there comes the sun in the background as well. If you're in North Dakota, just give it 24 hours. I think you give it 24 minutes as of late. You never know what you're going to get. But now all of a sudden, ball might become a little bit slick. You might put your cleat in the ground, or you might maybe see a lane that you don't see. So now all of a sudden, you add the half-hour delay, you add the rain, but the wind is gone. So there's good news. And Maple River is going to punt as Calvin Satcham will resume this game at 8:16. So it will be a first play that's going to go over his head. Satcham's going to try to punt it off. He does, and he gets leveled at the 5. He gets the punt off that actually is going to take a bounce past the 35 to the 37. In all, from where he kicked it, it would be a 30-plus yard punt. It's only going to go, though, in the record books as about a 8-yard punt. But Satcham took a heck of a hit as well by the time he got that ball off.
Yeah, that's tough. The officials got to deem whether or not that punter is a runner at the time. You could argue he wasn't, and you could have called that roughing, and that would have been quite the change in momentum right there, because we talked about earlier, the only way you can automatic first down in high school football is any type of roughing. But if he deemed that he was a runner right there, and he kicked it on the run, which he may technically have, then it's just a kick. But a great job by him getting the kickoff so they're not first and goal.
So 10:02 left to play here in the first half. The Lobos with their best starting field position in the game. We mentioned about the rain. Well, he saw it right there on the snap. Hansen looking for the big play to Mart down the sideline. Mart's got it in his hands for a second, then incomplete. Mart just couldn't bring it back into the breadbasket there for the Raiders on the coverage on the outside. Looks to be like Steve Drogan.
Got to talk to Coach Bonusing, who calls the defense for the Raiders here right before we resumed. He said, it's not working what we're doing. So he said, we're going to scrap it. We're going to run a different defense that we've been working on in practice, hoping to not have to bring it out tonight. But you saw safety over the top with Satcham. But still, one-on-one, Drogan did a great job. He is an excellent cover corner one-on-one. He did it all year last year as just a sophomore. Lots of experience under his belt, and they're just leaving him on an island and tell him, you got to take care of that guy.
2nd and 10, Lesko up the middle. Lesko is going to get tackled. Hovelson comes right through the gap, so that's going to go for a gain of nothing, and we've seen Hovelson make some nice tackles so far at the linebacker spot here for the Raiders this evening.
Tell you what, the Raiders did a nice job. Momentum can switch coming out of half. Typically, you don't see lightning delays, but they treated that as a halftime to make some adjustments. They came out. They are the team that is playing with more energy right now, and it shows.
And Lesko might have maybe tweaked an ankle as he comes up limping on the near sideline. So who's going to be the running back? More than likely, Hebel would be my guess, as he's in the backfield there with Hansen. Twins right, one near sideline here. Shotgun formation. The Raiders, they're going to rush 3. Hansen has some time. Finds a man. That's Ness in the flat to the 25, and Ness gets taken down at the 16-yard line. Enough for the first and some for LaMoure Litchville-Marion.
It's a great job by both receivers over here for LaMoure. They were decoys the entire way, and it was a simple 10-yard out by Ness. Beautiful pass. I was in a great position to see it just hit him beautifully in stride. It certainly doesn't look like a guy that's starting his first game at quarterback.
3 catches for Ness for 102 yards. That would help for your first game at quarterback too, there, Nathan.
Anytime you can have a guy that you know you can, worst case scenario, throw it up for grabs, yeah, that's a guy I want on my team.
As right now we're seeing the sun continue to set. We're starting to see some pink, some orange, and everything else in the sky. But right now the Lobos want their 4th touchdown of the evening. First down and 10, ball at the 16, handoff. Mart shimmies his way, and then he gets tackled by, well, guess who? There's Hovelson yet again. That'll be at the 12, though. A nice gain for LLM on first down.
He's an absolute tackling machine. It's interesting. I wonder how many guys in the course of a practice for LaMoure get reps at running back. We've seen 3 guys in this possession already get handoffs. If they just trust, hey, you're an athlete, hang on to the ball. We're going to hand it to you and just make a play, because it kind of seems that way right now.
8:40 left to play here in this first half, and as Nathan said earlier, a 5-minute halftime. So just pretty much a quarter break, essentially. Get some water in, catch your breath, and then get back out ready to play after that half-hour plus delay because of lightning. Shotgun formation. Hansen, almost barrel rolled over defender, and I don't want to keep saying his name, but I gotta. Hovelson with another tackle.
Both D linemen went up to try to block, or both offensive linemen both went to try and get him. He split right between them and made a play in the backfield. That was a phenomenal play.
And we have seen with the little bit of precip, even Hansen that time after he got the shotgun formation, bobbled it for a second. We saw the punt go over Satcham's head in terms of the snap on the punt on the previous drive for Maple River. So, Nathan, you're on the sideline, Hoots. Does it feel a little bit slicker or not too bad?
I'm not feeling it yet. I'm getting intermittent sprinkles right now, so I don't think that's too big of a deal.
3rd down and 7 as the Lobos will need the Raider 6 for the first down. Shotgun. This one going to be incomplete. Hansen looking out to the outside, and that was looking to the outside there to Hebel. More than likely 4-down territory here. As we know, in 9-man football, you don't really work on the kicking game too often.
Typically, the score is 50-0 before you see a kicker in 9-man football, so I doubt that's going to be seen right here. But great pressure rate there from the Raiders' defensive line, and Hovelson got a nice little touch on that back that was coming out of the backfield there just to slow him up, and you could see the timing was just off, just a shade. But right now, Ness cannot make the play if you're a Raider defender.
So it's going to be 4th down upcoming here for the Lobos. 2 wide receivers split out to the right-hand side, 1 to the near sideline here for LLM. Shotgun formation. See if the Raiders bring some pressure. Hansen takes the snap, has some time, throws it. That's going to be complete. That gets to the 5-yard line and going to about the 4 and taken down there at the 3 here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion for the first down to Gunnar Thielgis, the freshman 6-footer at 150 pounds a slot, comes across the middle and able to get the completion for a first down.
When you can run a 30-yard across the field drag in 9-man football, your D-line is not getting the pressure necessary, and he was back there and he just waited and waited and waited for him to come free. Too many eyeballs on the defender, on the offensive players for the Lobos that have made plays thus far, and someone else stepped up.
1st and goal. Ball will be spotted at the 3-yard line as Mark dots the I here. Mark gets the handoff, and he's going to get met up in the middle at about the 2-yard line there, and Connor Dull will come up with the tackle. Mark so far 3 carries for 13 yards. We mentioned that Lesko came up a little bit limping earlier, and we haven't seen him back since then, about 5 to 6 plays later. But 2nd and goal, ball at the 2. The Lobos knocking out the door with 6:40 left to play here in the opening half. Come out double tight here with 1 wide receiver split out right-hand side. Hansen, QB keeper, tries to get the push from Hebel. Is he in there? He is. Touchdown! LaMoure Litchville-Marion with 6:27 left to play in the opening half. The Lobos now lead it 26-0. 5 carries for 10 yards for Hansen and a touchdown. He's got 2 passing, 1 rushing. And now the 2-point conversion. And Nathan, this is one thing again for high school athletics. You get to the second half, there is running time when there is a mercy rule too. I know as coaches you don't want to have to worry about that, but that does come into a play in terms of the strategy of how you play the rest of a particular football game.
Exactly. you do everything you possibly can if you're a Lobo right now to make sure you get it to that number. And as the Raiders, you just want to make sure that it's not that number. You don't want to have to deal with that.
Oh, what a play by Ness for a second, but better defense there by Maple River to come out on the backside there by Drogan. He was just draping Ness the entire time. Looked like Colton was going to bring that one down. Instead, it is an incompletion. And with 6:27 left to play in the opening half, we'll have kickoff after this. It's the Lobos 26, Maple River scoreless. The Raiders will get the ball when we come back.
Visit with the experienced staff at Hope Electric to learn about the latest electrical systems and the newest technologies that they have developed to make your operation more efficient. Get a custom system in place with features like iPad truck loading and remote view grain storage, touchscreen controls, hazard monitoring systems, and wireless cellular cameras to protect your assets. Hope Electric, serving the agricultural and commercial industry since 1978. Visit hopeelectric.com or call 701-945-2460.
There's another.
As we're back here in Hope, it's LaMoure Litchville-Marion against the Maple River Raiders. It's 9B football here on your live event. Had the music cranked here on a Friday night, getting ready to get things go. Nathan, for Maple River, this will be their first possession after that lightning delay. What do you want to see here from the Raiders offensively? As we continue here on your live event, as the Lobos will kick things off at the 40-yard line, as we'll have Anthony Hansen back for the kickoff. Well, on the opposite side for Maple River, you'll have Dylan Reamer, and with him, Clay Hovelson. The right-footed kick here of Hansen. It is 26-0 with 6:27 left to play in the second quarter. The Lobos with a pair of touchdowns in the first and second quarter. End-over-end kick to the 22-yard line to wearing number 22 and Hovelson. Hovelson to the 25 to the 35, and then able to get tripped up at the 39. So really good field position again here for Maple River.
Yeah, that's 3 of 4 kickoffs. They've been starting past the 35 or right around the 35. In 9-man football, you want to be, if not past the 35, right around the 40. And if you're, kicking off, you want to try to pin them inside that number. So anytime you're outside the 35, you're pretty happy when you're starting a 9-man.
34, 42, 29, and 39 here for the start of the drives for the Raiders so far. Their fourth possession, turnover on downs, an interception, and a punt. They want to add touchdown to that mark here on this one. High snap. T. Silling rolls to near sideline. Might he tuck and run? Now he's going to pop a pass. Oh, what a sliding attempt and grab here by the Raiders at the 49-yard line and give it to him. Dylan Reamer slid in like he was trying to steal home. That's 9 yards on the pitch and catch.
T. Silling's an athlete. He loves to get out on the move. He's going to learn as he gets older and older. If he slides up in that pocket, his guard on the right side provided a nice pocket for him on the inside, but he's naturally an athlete that wants to run. So if he takes his time as he watches film, slide up in the pocket, he had a guy open deep.
10 yards, they'll give him on that pitch and catch, so give him the first down. So 2 receptions for 19 yards here for Reamer as the Raiders are at midfield. The Lobos looking to show some pressure as they will bring Hebel unevaded, and there's a block on the way, and then Silling's going to get wrapped up in the backfield by the All-Stater in Brock Wendell, a senior defensive lineman at 5'10", 195.
Immediate pressure once again. Silling did a nice job. He did slide up. Unfortunately, there was pressure from the inside as well, which caused a problem. If you got end and tackle pressure coming from the same side, typically that spells doom for the offense.
2nd and 13 upcoming here for the Raiders. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line with 5:17 left to play here in the first half. The Lobos with all 3 timeouts remaining. Maple River with 2 here to end this first stanza. 2 wide receivers split out both left and right. Right now the line play by Maple River, just trying to give enough time for T to step up in the pocket and try to look down the middle of the field. High snap, though. Now T's going to have to barrel roll on this one, and he does. Fortunate because Brock Wendell was right there to try to get the football, and that's going to be a loss of about 16 yards there and make it 3rd and a country mile.
You haven't seen many mental mistakes when it comes to penalties, but that's now 2 snaps in the first 6 minutes since we've come back from this delay that have gone well over the head of then the punter, now the quarterback, and that's there's no 3rd and 27 plays in the book, unfortunately.
And right now the Raiders are at their own 32. They will need to get to the Lobo 41 for the first down. So worst comes to worst, you'd like to at least get 10, 15 yards here and maybe make Larry Fontaine think about it going for a 4th down. Right now T's going to roll out, pocket collapses. He does make the throw down the field. It's going to be Incomplete at the 40-yard line. A chance on the way. Steven Drogan had it in his hands for a moment. Then Blaze Isaacson was in there on the coverage. It hit his hand for a second. Oh, what a play, though, by T rolling out and giving his receiver a chance there. Who comes down with the ball? That would have been a first down.
He really showed off the arm strength there. Drogan did a really nice job of getting good separation, but it's tough when you roll out to the left, being able to flip your hips and make that throw downfield when the guy is open for just a split second. Come back to that later in the game. It might be open for you.
For the Raiders, they will have to punt. Again, turnover, punt, and an interception. This will be their second punt. As coming on here will be Calvin Satcham. Ball spotted at the 32. Satcham back at his 20. Ness is there, and Ness is able to get his hand on it for the block. Then Isaacson picks it up at the 38. At the numbers 30-25, and Isaacson gets rolled out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So Colton Ness comes in, throws the up backer back, gets his right mitt on it. Isaacson, Johnny on the spot at the 38-yard line, 17 yards on the return, and the Lobos will have their best starting field position of the day. So for the Lobos here, 4:03 left to play, an eternity here in this first half as they will have it at the 22-yard line of Maple River. The last two drives here for the Lobos have started in Maple River territory at the 36 and now the 22.
You can tell the team that's been playing defense all first half. A lot of Raiders hands on the hips here because they have been playing defense for what seems like 90% of this first half thus far.
Handoff. This one's going to go to Mark. Mark cuts back into the 15 and taken down there at the 15-yard line for 8 yards, it looks like, to be on the rush here for the Lobos.
Liam Satcham's made about, I would say, 4 or 5 tackles that, don't look great, but he's saved major gains. 2 big plays on special teams right here. He made the tackle right in front of us here about the 20-yard line that saved a touchdown. That one right there, if he doesn't make that play, he's running to the opposite pylon for a score.
We've seen Liam Satcham try to get an opportunity to try to get up the field. The Sillings, again, bookending the middle as you have Levi Trader and also Bassett as well in the interior here for Maple River throughout this first half. We might get a timeout, and we do. The first timeout here coming by LaMoure Litchville-Marion. We'll break with them here late in the first half. It's 3:21 left to play in the second quarter. The Lobos trying to get their 5th touchdown of the game in your live event.
There's another way to minimize your farm's risk and protect its equity with margin protection coverage. This is Bethany Rentz, crop insurance agent with IRE Insurance. Margin protection provides coverage against an unexpected decrease or increase in operating margin. In other words, we can put a policy in place to protect you from changing input costs and crop prices on your farm. Let us help you explore this option between now and September 30th to get you covered. For more information, go to IREINS.com.
You're protected and appreciated at IRE.
Still to come, we'll get an abbreviated halftime show, take a look at some of the first half numbers here in this one, and then we're going to go right into the third quarter after a plus half-hour lightning delay here. They're going to break down the halftime to just 5 minutes and then go right into the third quarter. The one thing, though, with where we are on the scoreboard, we could talk about potential running time, Nathan. Again, if you're Andy Delabar and LaMoure Litchville-Marion, you get the touchdown here, you get the 2-point conversion, and you hold Maple River off the scoreboard for the rest of the first half. We might be talking about running time in the second half.
Yeah, and that makes for a mighty quick second half. It's unfortunate. It's good because you don't want to see those numbers get up into the 70s, but you lose a lot of valuable time to those young guys that don't get to see the field in tight games all year. You'd like to see as many reps as possible for those young guys.
It's going to be second down here for the Lobos. Handoff, Tate Mark, that's going to go nowhere. A little read option and a really nice play by Maple River. Liam Satcham, the senior, just came in, and pretty much Anthony Hansen was, well, I could either keep it and get hit, or I'm going to give it to my running back to get hit. So let Tate take it for the 3-yard loss.
Great job by both Sillings on the outside. They contained, they did their job. They got red. So doing their job by not allowing that quarterback to pull and keep and get outside of them. Great job by them. And Liam cleaned up.
3rd down and 5. Ball spotted at the 17. They will need the Raider 12 for the first down. 2 wide receivers split out right-hand side, 1 to the near sideline. Field just in the slot with Hebel to the right of Hansen. The Raiders are showing blitz. Will they bring more than 3? We'll find out. Hansen with the hard count. The Raiders bring 3. Hansen down the middle to Colton. Miss in the end zone. Incomplete. And we've seen Ness close to the end zone a couple times here on a two-pointer in that one. Hansen put it right on the money, but Nathan, what a nice defensive play by Maple River.
Liam Satcham is absolutely dominating this possession right now. He's made 3 or 4 tackles, and that play is exactly how you teach it as a DB. Even if the guys beat you, you rake your hands down through the ball and displace it, and he did exactly that right there. Well done.
The inaugural game here for the Maple River Raiders, again, co-op on the football side with the Maple Valley and Hope Page school districts on the opposite side here for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, and the Lobos, trying to do what they've done the last 4 seasons, make the playoffs and then try to get a deep run to try to get to the Dakota Bowl about 3 months from today. 2 wide receivers split out to the right-hand side as Hansen looks down and trying to look at his wrist. We might get a timeout here with a misalignment here by the Lobos. That'll be their second timeout of the half. We will keep it here. For you particularly on this one, Nathan, when you are facing a Lobo team like this, it obviously has talent across the board. Would you blitz here? Do you go back in coverage? We've seen Anthony Hansen have the ability to run if the pocket does break down. How do you go about it defensively from a Raiders point of view?
Yeah, I think you either got to bring everybody or bring nobody. You either drop everybody back into coverage and maybe bring 1 D tackle and give them that look, something different, maybe drop the Sillings into the flats and take that away, or bring the house and see how he responds the first time getting pressure. Hansen hasn't been touched virtually since the beginning of the first quarter. He's had a pretty clean pocket. It'd be nice to see what he does under pressure right here. Maybe bring Hovelson, bring Satcham off the edge and see what happens.
The Lobos with 2:30 left to play here in the first half. I have 1 timeout remaining for Maple River. Reminder, they will get the ball to start the second half. So we always mention the last 2-4 minutes of a half going in the next 2-4 minutes of the second half could be big. Well, a stop here would be large, and then if you could just find your way to get some space and get 6, all of a sudden you get some momentum going in that 5-minute little break.
There are certain plays that you can look back on during a season and you'll be like, this is the play that turned things around. I know it's really early, and you don't want to say that about a second quarter play, but this could be one right here.
Well, now Fieldgess is in the backfield with Hansen. The Raiders bringing forward this one down the middle. Ness is there. Ness slides into the end zone. Is he in?
He's in.
That's a touchdown for Colton Ness, his 3rd score of the day. That one goes for 16 yards, and the Lobos are back on the scoreboard as they lead it now 32-0.
Brought a little bit of pressure, just couldn't quite get there just enough time for Ness to get just enough space.
4 receptions with 118 yards, 3 touchdowns for Colton Ness. There's just something about playing in Buffalo or Hope for Ness where he just feels right at home. Able to have really good games here in the last couple of years for Colton Ness. Hansen goes under center, handoff. Tate Mart walks into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And with 2:23 left to play, new score, it's 34-0. LaMoure Litchville-Marion will have the rest of the first half when we come back here on your live event.
The friendly staff at LaMoure Drugstore reminds you, from school supplies, greeting cards, or prescription requests, you can find it all at LaMoure Drugstore. They deliver any day of the week upon request and will answer any general health questions you have. Watch out for the monthly flyer for monthly sales. Let LaMoure Drugstore be your one-stop shop. LaMoure Drugstore is located in the center of LaMoure in the Bank North Mall. For more information, go to LaMoureDrugstore.com. That's LaMoureDrugstore.com. LaMoure.
As we come back here on your live event, the final 2 minutes here of this first half. But the one thing that we know right now, Nathan, is if Maple River doesn't score, we would be into running time to start the second half here. So if you're Coach Larry Fontaine, you got 2 timeouts, 2.5 minutes. A score would be awfully nice, but also try to get something positive going into the second half. On the opposite side, if you're the Lobos, hey, 1 quick 3 and out, 1 quick pick, you might be able to hang 40 here on the first half with how much time there still is on the opposite side from a Lobo point of view.
That's exactly right. Same conversation we had at the end of the first quarter when they were dealing with that wind and a couple minutes left in the quarter. How aggressive do you want to be here? Do you really want to put your defense in a bad spot again by taking 3 chances down the field? But that's been their best opportunity to move the ball down the field. They've been so close on about 3 or 4 different plays here. Maybe one of them goes this way, and then we get a little bit of momentum for the Raiders going into halftime.
The Lobos go 22 yards on the scoring drive, which ate up just 1 minute and 40 seconds. So far, 5 possessions, 5 touchdowns here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Hansen again puts this one on the tee Send over and kick is going to go to the 19-yard line where Hovelson is there. Hovelson has a crease to the 30, to the 35. Look out, 40. Hovelson with room. He's in Lobo territory and taken down by Tate Mart at the 48-yard line. I don't know how Hovelson came through the middle. He shot out like a rocket, and the best starting field position here for the Raiders here this evening.
I was looking for my angle on this opposite sideline. I'm on the Raider sideline, and there was quite the crease over here. So that's something that they can look at here going forward. I'm glad that Hovelson's found the seam on the opposite side, made one guy miss, a couple stiff arms, and they got a chance now.
So for the Raiders, they'll mark it at the 47-yard line here. As Maple River will see if this can be the one that gets them back inside the red zone and try to find the end zone for the first time here today and shoot up that cannon. Shotgun formation, both to the left and the right here. T. Silling will roll to the near sideline, steps up, throws it down the middle of the field, and that one's going to be intercepted or incomplete. Tate Mart trying to play 500 with that ball as the intended receiver was Dylan Reamer, and that will stop the clock here with 2:05 left in the first half.
Those are plays Monday when they look at the film. It's going to be like, hey, that's not the time that we take the chance to just throw it up for grabs. I mean, there were two guys there from the Raiders, but an all-state safety sitting back there waiting, ready to make a play. And I think it's the only reason he didn't make the play is his own man wrestled it away from him.
Yeah, Colton Ness wanted to have an interception in the stat column on top of the couple of touchdowns he's got so far here tonight for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. Two wide receivers, both split out left and right. Shotgun formation. He's Silling saying, hey, watch out for Hansen coming on the outside. The Lobos, well, they'll bring Hebel on the opposite side. And the Lobos right now, Steph is trying to chase down Silling. Can't. Now T's got some room. T to the 40, and he hops out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Might be a
looks about a yard short.
Yeah, you got a better view than I do, Nathan, on that one. How close is it at the 38?
Yeah, looks like it's going to be third and a short one.
So right now, more than likely, as we talk about when is 3 down, when is 4 down territory in the game, well, this is definitely 4 down territory. Well, at the 37-yard line here of LaMoure, Litchville-Marion for the Raiders. But first things first, got to get the opportunity to move the chains and then continue to drive here if you're the Raiders. What will you call with Hovelson in the backfield?
Quick dive, try to get that first down and move the chains.
There's the quick dive. There's the first down. You move the chains, and then Hovelson took a shot by Wendell, and Wendell might have gave himself an own stinger there on the left-hand side as Brock came in on the tackle, but enough to move the chains to the 34.
Well executed. First scene that Hovelson's really seen thus far in the first half on a running play, but I think they were trying to make sure they didn't get beat over the top, and they were willing to give up the short yardage.
Third carry so far for Hovelson. He's got 3 receptions as well. So far, combined 6 touches for 40 yards. 1st and 10 for the Raiders. T. Silling rolls to near sideline off his back foot, finds Reamer. Incomplete at the 30-yard line as you're going to have Thiel just there on the wrap-up and takedown for the incomplete pass at the 30.
Be interesting to see if they start challenging this left side or right side of the Lobo defense. Both times they've come this way, they've gone to Drogan, and he's gotten a good opportunity to make a play. I would do whatever I possibly can to avoid Tate Mart and Ness in the middle of the field. I would come this way every single time and force that guy that's not our first-team All-Stater to make a play.
1:29 left to play here in this first quarter. Again, the Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining, so you can still run the ball if you want. The clock to stop if the ball is a first down. This one, Silling makes one man miss, makes another man miss, but can't make the third. He juked a Wendell. He was able to juke one more Lobo and Anthony Hansen, but unable to juke Braden Steffes at the very end. Fortunate, though, that it's just a 7-yard loss instead of a turnover there for the Raiders. It's going to be something I know for Coach Fontaine that they will be working on come Monday here. Just clean snaps, whether it's from the quarterback or whether it's the punting. We've seen just kind of a high snap a little bit here for the Raiders tonight in game number 1.
Be interesting to see if this is just a handoff to try to run this thing into halftime, or they're going to take a chance. It's been 25 seconds at least since the last snap.
Third down, too, and if you do hand it off, you might be able to get it to one final play and maybe do a Hail Mary before the half. Right now, they're saying, hey, let's pop it. Let's give it to Hovelson. Maybe he's got some blockers in front of him, and Hovelson taken down by Wendell, who just is flying everywhere on the field. And there will be a timeout. This will be at the 36-yard line. 5 yards on the reception, and a timeout coming up here.
Makes for an interesting decision. If you go for it here and you don't get it by taking that timeout with 28 seconds left, if you don't get it, you're giving plenty of time to this offense. So he must be confident that he's got a play in the book here that he can get 12 yards against this Lobo defense.
So it's going to be the second timeout by Maple River. Both teams will have one timeout remaining here. Coming up, we'll get to a break, come back, and then pretty much get you ready for the third quarter. Because, again, there's just going to be 5 minutes between the second and the third quarter. After about 7:40 here in Hope, we had a lightning strike, which made a lightning delay. At around 8:10, the teams came back on the field, and about 8:20 is when we got things rolling. So we had about 40 minutes of football, then we had about a 40-minute delay, and now we're back for about another 20 minutes of football for another break coming here at the half. Two wide receivers left and right. You don't need the end zone. You can get the first at the Lobo 24. That's what the Raiders need at least. Will the Lobos bring some pressure? They look to have 5 men at the line. They're going to bring 3. Silling steps up in the pocket, throws it down the middle of the field. It's picked off by Mart. Mart at the 35, 40, 45. Mart to the near sideline, 50 to the 45, cuts back in 40. It could go. Tate Mart, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Tate Mart, a 72-yard pick 6 with 9 seconds left to play here in the first half, and that's the exclamation point for the Lobos.
You applaud the aggressiveness coming from the Raiders, trying to cut into the lead, knowing you get the ball to start the second half, but unfortunately threw it at the wrong guy, and he made a big play.
No problem is Tate Mart has got wheels, Nathan. I tell you what, that's not someone that you want to have the pick 6 to.
He's a guy we actively kicked away from last year when we played down in LaMoure. So, if you're kicking away from somebody in special teams, you obviously don't want him in the open field when he's got the ball.
The Lobos will come out here for a chance at the 2-point conversion now with a new score that reads 40-0 here with 8 seconds left to play in the first half. A chance to make it 42 again. LaMoure Litchville-Marion averaged 50 points per game last season, and they're trying to start things off, as Coach Andy Delabar said. We want a benchmark game, and they're showing it right now. Hansen picks up a block from Mart, slides in for the 2-point conversion, and it's good. We'll keep it here for the final 8 seconds. I know that's a backbreaker without question, Nathan, but at the end of the day, you can't, at the end of the day, something to go back on film, but when you're got just seconds left to play in the first half, you're trying to make a play right there, and as you said, when the throw is made by Silling, you just threw it to the wrong number and the wrong guy for the Lobos, because Tate Mart has got some wheels.
It'd be interesting to see if they either flip the receivers, move Wyatt Silling over to the left side. He's only been on the right side thus far, and he's been over the top by Mart the entire first half. Are they going to switch that up, maybe move him to the left side, see if Mart is shadowing him? Because if he's not, maybe we can take some chances over on this side, see what happens. But no matter what the score ends up being, you got to find some things that you're going to be able to look back at and look forward to the rest of the season here in the last, 24 minutes.
Yeah, for Maple River and LaMoure Litchville-Marion, again, this non-region games. There's 8 regions across the state, and Nathan, you're playing just about as many region games as you are non-region games. So at the end of the day, games still matter to try to be a top 1, top 2, top 3, 4 seed. But, for example, if you do lose this game, it's not like Maple River season's already, okay, we're playing from behind in the region, and the Lobos already beat us, and another 2 teams won tonight. Now you're a game behind. You still have it 0-0, so to speak, in region play to make the postseason here in 9B football.
Yep, that's exactly right. You can look forward. You can find something to take from this, knowing that, hey, in the end, it's not going to affect our region standing. You'd like to see a good result no matter what. But 5 seconds, see if they can draw some up fun here.
The Lobos just with a squib kick there by Hansen to try to negate any return by the Raiders. And then Marty Rohrbeck just dives on it at the 35-yard line. Up in Thompson, it's the Tommies all over Grafton. Well, almost by the score we have right here. And it is 42-0 going into the fourth quarter. Thompson leads the Grafton Spoilers there in 11B football. First down and 10 here for the Raiders. They will have it for this possession, and we'll see how they try to close out this first half of play. And they'll just take a knee by Silling, and that'll do it for the first half. Our modified halftime show is next on your live event.
LaMoure Hardware carries your everyday items for plumbing, electrical, automotive, and more. From painting supplies, power tools, or outdoor cooking, LaMoure Hardware has you covered. Plus, with Sweet Pickens and Super Value Grocery, a part of LaMoure Hardware, they're your community one-stop shop. Check out the Sweet Pickens section for local furniture and decor. And for more info, go to Sweet Pickens' Facebook page. For more information on all services that LaMoure Hardware offers, go online to LaMoureHardware.com. That's LaMoureHardware.com.
Larson Parts and Repair Inc., Highway 59 in Bijou does it all. They provide full shop services for your tractors, combines, trucks, pickups, and cars. Their tire department carries a full line of name brand tires, and they've got state-of-the-art alignment equipment. And don't forget about the parts department. They have parts for just about anything, right down to your lawnmower. Call today, 218-935-2774. Larson Parts and Repair Inc., Highway 59 in Bijou.
The Maple Valley School District is moving forward with the plan to build a new pre-K classroom, community fitness center, and gymnasium with locker rooms. The classroom will provide more space for a growing pre-K program. The fitness center will provide opportunities to benefit all Maple Valley communities, and the gym will allow more opportunities for all activities of the Maple River Co-op. Plus, the plan is to build with no new taxes. Contact the business manager to see how you can help make this a reality today at 701-749-2570.
The Maple Valley Parents Organization is an organization whose main purpose is to support all Maple Valley student activities and to promote a healthy environment and attitudes for the youth. Their aim is to encourage growth and interest in these areas by supporting them in a sportsmanlike manner. The Maple Valley Parents Organization is open to anyone. If you'd like to become a member or see upcoming events, like their Facebook page by searching Maple Valley Parents Organization on Facebook.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck, yes. That'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in North Dakota, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Stay up to date with the latest goings-on in the region with the Coaches Show every Wednesday night on YourLiveEvent.com.
Goes deep down the middle, has a man, Soka Porter! Soka Porter to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and taken down there.
We'll dive into the latest stories from North Dakota and Minnesota.
And there's the block by Reese.
That's the Coaches Show with me, Joe Lancello, on YourLiveEvent.com every Wednesday night starting at 7.
If you're just joining us, the story, well, that's Colton Ness so far for LaMoure Litchville-Marion as the Lobos senior. 4 receptions for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. I like those averages in terms of receiving per catch here for Colton Ness. Here's a look at the first half numbers. LaMoure Litchville-Marion with 250 yards of total offense, 180 passing, and 70 rushing. The Lobos 2 penalties for 15 yards and no turnovers. For Maple River, 81 yards of total offense, 77 through the air, 4 rushing on 12 attempts. They do have 2 interceptions so far here today, 1 penalty for 5 yards in this particular game. As you see the Lobos coming back on our screen from their modified break. For Maple River right now, 7 of 15 through the air for T. Silling for 77 yards and 2 picks. The leading rusher is Hovelson for 3 carries for 7 yards. Hovelson 4 receptions for 38 yards receiving. For the Lobos, their leading rusher is Lesko for 8 carries, 42 yards, and a touchdown, but he got a little nicked up there in the second quarter, and we haven't seen him back, which is also big because, a reminder, 3 Lobo players are not playing this game and their next game, with one of those being Brady Lettenmeyer here, an all-state caliber kind of running back. Hanson, though, through the air, 7 of 11 for a $183, touchdowns. A lot of that, again, gone to Colton Ness. You have Hebel for 2 carries for 34 yards. Nathan Hoots on the sideline. Chase Miller with you doing the play-by-play. Mac Robinson, the puppet master here behind the scenes. Nathan, hearing those first half stats again, what jumps off the page, or maybe is there a person that we're not giving enough credit to, like the line play, for example, of the Lobos, or maybe a linebacker for someone in particular that you've seen out there?
Yeah, I think you can tell that the O-line of LaMoure is experienced. They've worked together for not just 2 weeks here in fall camp, but for years. And their quarterback Hanson's thanking him because he's hardly been touched. He got touched on a read play, he got touched on an option play, and he got touched on 1 passing play. And that's all he's been touched all game. So I think if you want to look at the MVP group of the first half, it's the O-line for LaMoure. They've created space for the running backs, whoever's carried the ball. Every single guy that's touched it seems to be getting 4 or 5 yards of pop. So, just see what minor adjustments you can make here in 5 minutes at half and see what happens.
And we will have running time. Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 32 or 34 points again for running time, or is it right at 30?
I believe it's 30,
okay,
yes.
30, right at 30. Got to make sure we're back in August, but I feel like everybody else, you're back to school, got to get the cobwebs off, find what everything is. I was telling Mac earlier, who's from Ohio, and I said, you're going to love this because Minnesota does stuff differently than North Dakota. For example, North Dakota running time in the second half to start, where Minnesota waits till the fourth quarter in that particular deal. So just slight subtleties between the High School League of Minnesota and the Association of North Dakota.
Yep, and then I believe in South Dakota, they called the game if it gets to 50.
Oh, look at that. Nathan Hoots bringing South Dakota. Talk about tri-state, no pun intended.
That's about right.
Right there with those rules. I like it. Here comes Anthony Hansen. This one a squib kick again. Pops up at the 30, then takes a wicked hop back to the 20. Oh, that was like my pitching iron coming out, just taking the hop right there. That was 14 yards, and by the way, that was a live football, so the Raiders fortunate to dive on it at their own 20-yard line to start this second half of play.
But unlike your pitching wedge, that was an intentional shank.
Yes, very much so. Thanks for bringing that up, Nathan. I really appreciate that. Maple River will start at their own 20-yard line here with 11:54 left to play here in the third quarter. And again, it's running time unless the Raiders are able to get this one under 30 points. Otherwise, incomplete passes, for example, the clock will continue to run. So we'll see what the Raiders can muster here on drive number one of this second half. Here comes the snap. Teat makes a man miss, gets to the 20-yard line. Hebel able to get away from an All-State linebacker, and Teat keeps the pile moving until Fontaine finally finishes him off with Wyatt Selling as well. But a hearty 3-yard run there by T.
That's excellent to see. T's kind of been living on the edge, outside the tackles essentially in the first half. Yeah, so it's nice to see him take somebody on in the hole right there. That was well done.
Up front for the Lobos again, Wyatt Waite at 6'1", 260. Brock Wendell at 5'10", senior at 195. And then they kind of mix and match their linebackers at particular times that we've seen with Garrett Hebel and now Thiel just playing there. Hovelson, the halfback, cuts back in, and then he's going to get clocked right at the line of scrimmage as Hebel finishes him off. But the Lobos again with really good pursuit, and the first player coming in there for LLM was Tucker Jones, getting a freshman in, getting some playing time here for the Lobos. So right now we've seen Coach Andy Delabar get some different faces here to start this third quarter for the Maple River Raiders. Up front again, you're seeing Levi Trader alongside with Kelvin Satcham, the center, and the other guard of Liam Satcham right now, the senior at $180 and a 6-footer. This one, going to try to be a quick throw to the outside and able to get a couple of yards, but just the pursuit of Wendell and Hebel comes into full view again as it looked like for a second Marty Rohrbeck might have found a lane. Instead, he only gets 2 yards.
The way the Lobos defense aligns, it's just they beg you to throw it into the flats because you got a DN that's sitting there, but sometimes he comes, sometimes he floats into the flats. And so you throw that bubble because it's just so enticing. And then all of a sudden, 2 steps later, I mean, Rohrbeck had the ball in his hand for a second, and the linebacker was on top of him. They cover space so well.
Satcham right now will have to punt this ball away, and we'll count what the Raiders have. They do have 9, as we saw one guy scamper to the far sideline here. Clean snap this time, as Satcham's able to get this one off. It's going to go on the far sideline. We'll see what the punt is. The line of scrimmage was 25. We'll see what the official ruling is at about the 40. Keeps running to about the 35, so it will be a 10-yard punt here for Maple River. The Lobos will start yet again their third, make that 4th consecutive drive in Maple River territory.
You install a new offense, you install a new defense, and it's a new co-op. Sometimes special teams can go a little unnoticed in 2 weeks of fall camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that now that we get into a routine where we got Monday through Thursday to get ready for a game, the kids know each other and they know the offense and the defense. Now we can focus a little more on special teams, and we'll see a significant improvement here as the year goes on for the Raiders.
Well, I know the Raiders too. They were up at the crack of dawn, 7 o'clock in the morning. They were practicing whether it was in Buffalo or Page the first week. Then this one's going to be a handoff as it goes to about the 32-yard line for 3 yards as Thiel just is in there on the rush here for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. And also with the co-op too, as you know, Nathan, one team or one side had school, the other part of the co-op didn't have school on a particular day. So that's also a little bit different with the schedule as well.
Yeah, so Maple Valley's already had school for 3 days this week, and Hope Page doesn't begin until next Thursday, I believe.
There you go.
So
I like to be a Hope Page person.
That's
Continue to
right.
enjoy the summer a little
Yep.
bit. 2nd and 7, handoff. Thiel just right up the middle, and Thiel just bulldozes his way past the 25 to the 24. Hovelson with a pair of Raiders there in on the tackle.
You know, I bet Coach Delabar has been pointing at this season for a long time with all the stars they have that are seniors. But as we're seeing here in the first possessions of the second half, the cupboard is not going to be empty here after this year.
11 seniors again for this LaMoure Litchville-Marion Lobo team. And I don't care if it's 9-man or 11-man football. You bring back double digits in seniors, you're going to have some experience here, and that's what the Lobos have. And it showed so far here tonight. Anthony Hansen under center, I formation. Theolgis again. Theolgis, oh, what a nice step through. A little juke in the backfield, getting wrapped down by Dylan Reaver, the senior. But I tell you what, Theolgis, Nathan, did a really nice job on the cut there to find a lane and get some positive yards.
I'm going to guess for the past 5 or 6 years, Theolgis has been playing, football on the side, but he's been watching Brady Lettenmeyer run. He looks a lot like him. He's got more of an upright running style. He looks a lot like him. So, unfortunately for Region 1 moving forward, if this is a sign of things to come, it could be a problem.
Yeah, 6 foot, 150-pound freshman here dotting the I, and you got an all-state linebacker and fullback Hebo trying to pave the way for you. That goes a very long way as well. 2nd down here for the Lobos. Handoff Theolgis, and Theolgis going to get wrapped up there as Maple River coming through as Liam Santrum with a shoestring tackle to make it 3rd down and about 6.
Tell you what, when the Raiders see a team that isn't the number 1 team in the state, like you said, with 11 returning seniors, I think they are really going to like the way that they defend the run. These linebackers are making plays every single time. If those D linemen can just absorb one offensive lineman every single play, I think between Satrum and Hovelson and Rohrbeck and anybody that's going to play linebacker, they are just going to eat up tons of tackles.
Lobos will come out here, 3rd down. Hansen under center, nearing that midway point of the 3rd quarter. Play action. Hansen goes to the flag, finds Steffes there. Steffes is going to get to about the 15-yard line, and they needed the 14 for the first, so it will be 5 yards on the pitch and catch. 185 yards now passing for Hansen. As we're hearing a lot of cheering across the way, I think, with our crowd mic. With
Hot mic, sorry.
Nathan Hoots. Were they cheering for you, Nathan?
No,
Okay.
no, that was definitely not for me. I think it was for the boys in blue.
4th down and short here. Hansen, QB keeper, and able to go to the right-hand side. By the way, you got Wyatt Wade at 6'1", 260. On the right guard, you got Wendell at 5'11", 175. The other Wendell Brock at 5'10", at 195. Then tight ends of Steffes at 5'10", 165. And Ness at 6'2", 190. That's a good front 5 for the LaMoure Litchville-Marion and 9-man football.
You know, and the guys that aren't at 200 plus, those are the guys that you almost worry about just as much because they're so athletic and they move so fast. Before you even get out of your stance, they've already pinned you in the direction they want to.
1st down, ball spotted. It looks to be at the 12-yard line, so you can get to the 2 for the first. And before you get to a 1st and goal situation, this one goes to Theolgis. Theolgis trying to get to the numbers. He does to the 10 and wrapped up there at about the 9-yard line. And well, I just saw a streak of blue come across that far side there, Nathan.
A little freshman just made that play, and I think to the pleasure of a lot of kids over here, they like seeing a little kid make a play. That's awesome.
Well, let's see who that little freshman is there for the Raiders. It's Preston Dow's the freshman at 5'9" and 110 pounds. Just like a streak of blue just came in and able to make the tackle on the opposing freshman, also giving up some size in Theolgis. 2nd down and 7 here as Hansen goes back under center. Under 5 minutes to play here in this 3rd quarter. Hansen, handoff. This one goes up the middle, close to the 1st down, gets a little bit more, and that's going to be for about 3 yards there as the Raiders are trying to get into the backfield, and that looked to be Clay Hovelson to be the first part of that to bring him and Theolgis down for a gain of 3.
Tell you what, this freshman Preston Dow's, you talk to the coaches every single day, as I get to, thankfully. They say, yeah, we got this guy and this guy and this guy, but wait until you see this little freshman Preston Dow's. He's not afraid of anybody. He, like you said, it looks like a bolt of lightning when he goes running. He's an incredible little kid, and I think he's got a bright future.
Might have to call him Junior Thor potentially if he brings the hammer one more time. 3rd down and 3. Inside handoff on a trap play to Hebel, and we haven't seen that particular play yet today, and that's one that the Lobos have had a lot of success with in the past with Hebel.
Yeah, and we're starting to feel a little bit of moisture from this, evening dew that's upon us, and I think that's caused a couple slips here.
Under 4 minutes to play as Hebel gets that one. And that's a tough play to go up against, too. When you're trying to go left, you're trying to go right. All of a sudden, here comes a big man who knows how to wrestle and know how to break tackles and Hebel. He just kind of slipped up there. So ball's going to be at the 4. Again, they need about the 2-yard line for the first. We'll see if they can get it here. And, well, I would maybe expect Anthony Hansen QB keeper. As Hansen goes under center, make sure everyone is set. Hansen going to step back. This is wide open in the end zone. Did he catch it? He did. Touchdown, Lobos. It goes for 4 yards, and Ness had to work for that one. His 4th reception of the day. 5 receptions, 122 yards, and 4 touchdowns for the senior Colton Ness.
Tell you what, early in the possession, he had an excellent seal block. He doesn't get near the credit that he deserves for being such a great blocking tight end. He sealed the edge on one of the Silling boys and created a big play. And then he makes a tremendous catch. I mean, he barely even turned around. The ball was on him, and he made that play.
48-0 right now. LLM all out in front over Maple River. 2-point conversion to get to half 100. Handoff. Mart bounces out, and Mart is in for the 2-point rush. With 2:31 left to play in the third quarter, the Lobos have hit the 50-point mark. It's 9B football on your live event.
DK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to our growers. Your trust and fellowship is the driving force behind our dedication to your successful farming operation. We continue to invest in the education of our team to ensure your customer experience is outstanding. Thank you for the opportunity to be your planter experts. Stop by either of our locations in Hillsboro or Drayton, North Dakota, or visit planterdoc.com.
Still to come on our post-game show, we'll get to our RDK Enterprises precision play of the game. Also name our Enbridge Energy player of the game, which might be 1 in 2 in terms of how it was. There was a long receiving touchdown earlier by Colton Ness. We'll see about that. But, give it to an offensive lineman, give it to a linebacker. We've said a couple of names a lot tonight here for both particular teams, which that's what 9-man football is. You don't really get a lot of breaks off. You don't get to come to the sidelines and get a cup of water. You got to play the entire 48 minutes. And Larry Fontaine said this: it doesn't matter what kind of team you have in the opening week, you're going to find out quickly who's in football shape and who's actually in shape after 48 minutes of play. And Nathan, I think you can say that for any team that's playing on the opening night of high school football. There's football shape and then there's in shape, and that's what Larry Fontaine was saying. We'll know after tonight who we need to kind of get on maybe a little bit more in the next week or two and get up to a certain level after this football game.
Yeah, game shape is a different animal. And I was talking to Coach Bonensingle on the defense, and I said, you're going to laugh at the end of the year when you see the guys that started and played all the time for you at the beginning of the year. Don't overreact to the first game. See what happens. Just glean as much positive as you possibly can, especially playing the opponent, the caliber of the Lobos here tonight, and just move forward no matter what happens this last 14 minutes or so. Play as hard as you possibly can until the final whistle.
We had for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, they're going to have an offside on the kickoff, so this will go back to the 35-yard line here, and the Lobos will have to re-kick. This will be the third possession combined of the third quarter. Again, running time with the score at where it is right now, 50-0. Maple River trying to get their first touchdown here of the night and get that cannon to go off on the opposite side for the Lobos. They're going, we like more the same of what we did last year. On average, outscoring their competition, 50.75 points per game to 4.5 was the average. The Lobos scored 83 touchdowns a season ago, and they're well on track to try to do that again here in 2022. There we go. Add 2 more years. Here's Anthony Hansen with another squib kick. This is a live ball, and a job by the Maple River just to dive on that one, and Liam Satro. Final, Thompson wins it over Grafton, 54-0. Tommy's all over the spoilers in 11B football.
Based on the reaction from Coach Delabar over there, he did not want that ball to go, 12 yards. He was hoping for it to be a little longer like the earlier one. You never want to see something that looks like an onside kick when you're up 50-0, trust me.
No, you do not. And for Maple River right now, they'll come out with a power I formation with T. Stilling right now under center. Little counter play. This goes to Hovelson. Hovelson gets the 50-yard line, and he's met there for a 4-yard rush. The junior defensive back, Blaze Isaacson, in on the tackle.
It looked a little more similar to what we got used to with Coach Fontaine as a Spartan head coach for the past how many years, and then combined with what we ran at Maple Valley Enderlin for the past couple of years, it was power, and maybe that's what they'll find a little something here in the fourth quarter.
And the thing is, again, August 4th, maybe for some people feels like an eternity ago, but for others, it's not that long by the time you get into practices, and then you got to play a game pretty quick. So, you get 2 weeks worth, and then boom, game number 1. Second down here for the Raiders as they will come out with that power I formation. Under center is T. Stilling right at midfield, trying to look for the reverse counter trap here to Reamer, as Reamer had to get out of a way for a second there, and then he is met by Wendell and a host of other Lobos, and Wendell might be shook up a little bit here as that goes back to the 50 for no gain. Some other finals coming through here. We'll get to a second. Hillsborough, Central Valley, and Park River area playing each other right now on your live event. Also Central Cass and Fargo Oak Grove. And we'll get to those out-of-town scoreboard update here in our post-game show as well. And we'll hear from a coach or a player. That's all still to come on our post-game report. Wolvelson pitch. Gets it to the 50, getting close to the line to gain to about the 46. He needed the 44. I think he's going to be about a yard, if not 2 yards short. Hovelson, now 6 carries for 15 yards.
Rohrbeck with a great block over here. He had his guy sealed, and then his guy beat him to the outside, and then he just took him right down into the sideline. It was very well done by him. That was a comfortable play for him. He played fullback for us last year and did a great job. He may look tiny. He may actually be tiny, but he doesn't play tiny.
And that's what you need sometimes in the football field, just a guy just to do their job, find a way to hit someone and open up a lane for Hovelson. This one will be the wishbone formation here, 4th down and 2. Little inside trap play, trying to get the first down, and they got it as that's past the 45 to about the 42 for a 4-yard rush. And Maple River able to get the first down here for the Raiders as Dull has a 4-yard gain.
Just as effective as a quarterback sneak as that quick dive with the fullback. Very well done, very well executed. They got off their blocks really fast.
And that'll end our third quarter play. The Lobos lead it 50-0 our final 12 minutes here of the opening game in 9B football between LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, and Maple Rivers next on your live event.
Honesty, loyalty, integrity. At Bank North, we've remained true to these values for generations. They shape the way we do business, work with customers, and support our communities. We've been here for more than a century, helping people grow farms and businesses, finance homes, and pursue their dreams. It's values-based banking, and it's all about working together to strengthen the common threads that bind us together. Bank North, always true.
Serving Mahnomen and the surrounding communities for 34 years, it's Brigham and Super Value, your hometown grocery store in Mahnomen. Stop by today. Great weekly specials, delicious fresh produce, along with baked goods that are baked fresh daily, and a fully stocked meat department. Great deals. You'll find them at your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value. Celebrating 34 years, it's your hometown grocery store, Brigham and Super Value in Mahnomen.
Well, 12 minutes of football left here in the season opener in Hope between LaMoure, Litchville-Marion, and the Maple River Raiders. Colton Ness has had himself a really nice night for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. The Lobos trying to win another state title. A cool story here for the Lobos' point of view is Garrett Hebel's dad, Matt Hebel, who's an assistant coach, was part of the 1991 state title team, and 30 years later, he got to see his son win a state championship as a junior, and now Hebel here as a senior. So just some of the interesting facts. Sometimes family and football, we hear it all the time. You got to see it for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion up close and personal even more last year. But right now, a valuable 20 minutes for both sides to get some new faces, and I think we had a little false start there by Hovelson potentially in the backfield. We did, and Maple River will have a 5-yard penalty, but just 2 penalties for 10 yards tonight for the Raiders. That is clean for game number 1. It's just when the penalties have happened, they had a turnover at one particular point, and then maybe more so the small things, Nathan, the miscues of a high snap and a punt, or maybe a little bit of a missed block here and there that maybe the casual fan doesn't see, but as a coach, you definitely see on the sideline.
That's what's irking. You can see Fontaine, just the look that he gets whenever we have a mistake of that caliber, and the same thing Coach Delabar, if they have any type of a penalty, he's going to be just irate, I'm assuming.
First down and 15. Hovelson to the 45 and tries to bring a Lobo and Tate Mart with him. A good 5-yard gain. And the one thing I think we've seen from both teams tonight is the speed. The Lobos have it yet again, but the Raiders, when they get guys in space, whether it is a Wyatt, whether it's a Reamer, whether it might be a Dahl or even Hovelson, we've seen those guys, hey, if they make one man miss, they can make a 5-yard run to a 15-yard run awfully quickly.
Yeah, and you and me have seen a lot of football. That play right there that was made by Tate Mart, that's not being made 90% of the time. The Raiders are going to have plays like that all year long, and I bet 75% of them go for 15 plus. Tonight it's only 5.
2nd and 10. Pitch play goes to Hovelson, and Hovelson able to break out of one tackle, but then gets wrapped up at the 39 for about a 3-yard gain. It looks to be Wendell was one of the Lobos there on the tackle, makes it 3rd down and 7. Hovelson 8 carries so far for 23 yards to lead the team for the Raiders here tonight. After this evening's game, 3 straight road games for Maple River, at Richland, at Tri-State, and at Hatton Northwood. A final Central Cass over Fargo Oak Grove from Davies. Squirrels 34, Grovers 14. 3rd down and 7 upcoming here for the Raiders. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line. Wishbone formation yet again for Maple River. Handoff. This one goes up the middle and going to be close. Reamer trying to push his way to the 33, and we'll see if the senior was able to get there.
That is going to be mighty close. I think he's going to be just a hair short.
Give him 6.5 yards.
You know, you're looking for things that you can carry over. Wyatt Silling made a phenomenal block on an excellent end on this side of the field. Created a giant gaping hole, 6 yards just like that.
And now it's 4th and inches here, and this is a drive for Maple River that started back, in their own territory. So it's been a nice methodical drive so far. There is a timeout here. This will be by Larry Fontaine. We'll take a break as well. 9:49 left to play. When we return, it's the final 4 quarters. It's the final part of the 4th quarter when we return on your live event.
Dakota Heritage Bank, serving you with locations across North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota, has a strong background in ag and business lending, but can also help with any auto, recreational, personal, or home loans, including home equity lines of credit. Dakota Heritage Bank is a family-owned community bank where decisions are made locally. Our friendly staff greets you with a smile, takes the time to get to know you, and can help with your banking needs. Visit us online, dhbanknd.com. Dakota Heritage Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Triple E.
For this contest, 9:49 remains here in this 4th quarter. And the one thing both coaches did say earlier in the week when I spoke with Andy Delabar and Larry Fontaine on Wednesday, able to talk with them via Zoom and then just kind of ask some questions about, the season and what they expect. They both said they like their team's speed particularly. We've seen that here for both play out as this game has continued. 4th and short, it's a fullback trap, and putting the helmet down for the first down to the 30-yard line is Maple River, as that was a hard hit on the way. Fumble comes out late. Was it before or after is always a question of when you get to your forward momentum. Connor Dahl in on the carry for 3 yards, and they will say, he was down, play was over, it's 3 yards and a first down for the Raiders.
That's where, as a coach, you don't care whether he was down or not. It's 50-0. It's a first down for the Raiders.
Yeah. First down for the Raiders and a chance for Maple River to continue to work here offensively. Same thing for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. They had a lot of shutouts last year, and they want to try to get a shutout here to start the 2022 season. On the opposite side for the Raiders, looking to get that first score on the board and then take something into next week's contest in week number 2. This one goes to the right-hand side and spinning his way to the 25-yard line here for Maple River is Reamer. 4 carries now for 17 yards. What have we seen that's worked so far here for Maple River? I know sometimes, Nathan, when you run this kind of offense, it's, a death by 1,000 paper cuts if you're the defense because it's 3 yards here, 5 yards there, but it's been efficient here for the Raiders in the 4th quarter.
Any type of misdirection to get those those linebackers to flow the wrong way, even if it's 1 or 2 steps. That's what's resulting in 5-yard gains. So anytime they're running what we called an old crossbuck or a counter, if you want to call it that, where you get a backside pulling guard and a little misdirection, that's been well done for the Raiders.
Here it
comes again.
A 2nd and 5, and there's Hovelson, and Hovelson gets tripped up as you're going to have Hebel and Wendell. That's a 1-2 sandwich I would not want to be the receiving end of in terms of that punch. 2 yards on the rush makes it 3rd and 3. 9 carries for 25 yards. I think we're going to have an easy but difficult time because Colton Ness, obviously, from an offensive point of view, is a story as much as Anthony Hansen is for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. But again, Hebel and Wyatt Wade and Wendo, they might not get enough credit all the time. But I think from a coach's point of view, they definitely stand out watching tape.
Absolutely. As a person that watches, maybe looks at newspapers for stats and stuff like that, you're not going to see those guys show up.
Right there, we just saw Hebel show up again. It's a pitch play for a loss of 2 yards to Reamer. And I tell you what, if you don't get at least a ankle, a shoulder, somewhere to get Hebel off his rocker, he is coming right down Main Street and wrapping up anybody he sees in his sights. It's going to be 5 carries now for 16 yards for Reamer. 4th down upcoming here for the Raiders. They will need to get to about the 20-yard line for the first with 7 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. Maple River will drop to 0-1 on this season for LaMoure, Litchville-Marion. Their winning streak will grow to 13 straight games, and also they will improve to 1-0 here on the year for the defending 9B champs. Wishbone formation again. T. Silling goes under center here for the Raiders. Little counter action and getting close to the line to gain at the 20-yard line as it looks to be Reamer, and I think they'll give him the first. They did. We always hear about falling forward, Nathan, and that's what Reamer did. That gave him that extra half yard to get the first.
He was a solid yard short of that first down, but forward momentum took him past the line of scrimmage, or the line to gain.
The Raiders just been, again, like I said, death by 1,000 paper cuts. It might not be flashy at particular times, but this is old news, old school, hard-nosed kind of football right now by Maple River, and it's been able to get a couple of yards here and there, and then you just wonder if you lull a defense to sleep, you might get the play action. This one by the fullback. Hebel is there in on the tackle, and taking the brunt of that was Rohrbeck.
Sometimes coming into a game, especially when you have a new co-op, you kind of have an identity crisis as an offensive coordinator. Are we going to be spread? Are we going to be wishbone? And Coach Fontaine's just slowly figuring it out. Hey, first half we went to the spread. Second half we did this. Now we can go back and we can find what we did well in both facets of the game and start to narrow that playbook, or go the opposite direction and widen it out and just become even more multidimensional.
And they always say week 1 to week 2 at terms of games is when you really make your biggest strides, and we'll see what the strides are for both teams coming up in week number 2. This one going to be a fake pitch as T. Stilling's going to go to the near sideline here, and he's going to get hung out by Anthony Hansen. Then 4, make it 5 Lobos. Gang tackling, getting after the football there. That's going to be a loss of -3.
Extremely well played by Anthony Hansen. He hasn't really been tested a whole lot, stretched to the outside. The Raiders have only run a couple plays to the outside, and he was sitting there waiting for it. And he knew his job, contain, and he made sure he didn't get outside of him.
5 minutes left to play here in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 11 here for Maple River as the Raiders will come out. I do like the uniforms, though, Nathan, here for this new co-op. Nice looking sharp, and particularly the helmets. A number on one side, and the other side, you got it clean, but I like what we've seen for the Raiders.
It's a clean look. I'm really impressed, considering we were having some nausea and indigestion trying to wait these out because we didn't get them until Monday. But once they arrived, the guys couldn't stop raving about them.
3rd down here and long for the Raiders. Silling drops back, looks down the middle, now throws across his body into the end zone. Reamer incomplete. It was number 2 versus number 2. Reamer against Isaacson, and Isaacson played it awfully well. Reamer had a chance at it, goes off his fingertips, and it's 4th down and long.
I liked how they let him battle, didn't bail him out by throwing a penalty on either offense or defense there. And I don't know if it's painful to say or not as a former coach, but these officials have done a really nice job here in this first game. they're not the two teams aren't the only ones doing their first game this year. It's these five as well, and I think they've done a very nice job.
I like what you said about the officials sometimes because we do have an official shortage, and it's not in North Dakota, but across the entirety of the United States. So anytime you can say some good words, when it's earned like anything else, you got to praise the men in stripes. T. Silling has some time to throw now, steps up, pocket collapses, and guess who? Wendell is there, and that might put the bow on defense here by the Lobos. You got an All-Stater in Hebel and an All-Stater in Wendell, and they've made a bevy of plays here tonight for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. That's going to be a loss and a sack, and that might do it here for the Maple River Raiders offensively because all that LaMoure Litchville-Marion needs to do with a running clock right now with 3 minutes left to play is get 1 first down, take a couple of knees. You can head home with a 50-0 win here for the Lobos and improve to 23-1 in your last 24 contests. I don't care if you're Sid Sitchy Days of Fargo Shanley, if you're Wingenbach of Bismarck Century, Scott Olson from what we've seen from HCV or Kravachka up in Langdon. You can go 23-1 in 24 games. You are doing something right. Nathan Hoots there on the sideline.
Yeah, and you know what? I bet you if you went and asked Coach Delabar which one he remembers the best, you know which one it's going to be?
It's going to be the loss.
It's going to be the one.
Semifinal loss to Layton HMB, who was the champ then in 2020. As Andy Delabar let the clock roll, he'll take a timeout here, and we'll see some fresh new faces here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Nathan, before we get to our final post-game show here and put a bow on this one, just your thoughts overall on the game and how both teams are going to continue to work into week number 2. Obviously, the Lobos, as advertised, Andy Delabar said it again, this is a benchmark game for us. We want to put the pedal to the metal, see where we can possibly go, and I think we've seen that. But on the opposite side for Maple River, you take a Tate Mark Pitt 6 away, you take an interception that was tipped earlier away. Not to say that you're going to win this game, but it could be a little bit closer than what we're seeing it on the scoreboard if you take 1 or 2 of those picks away.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I guarantee Coach Fontaine and everybody on the staff here is going to take away. They're going to look at those, hey, guys, we were this close. We were this close, and this and this and this. And you know what? Every single possession that LaMoure scored, except for that pick 6, they've had to work for it. It hasn't been one play, 80 yards, touchdown, you know, and then they made them work on those 2-point conversions. There's little things that you can go back and look at, but holy cow, LaMoure is an absolute wagon. And it's anytime you don't see, a 50-0 score, it's probably going to catch your eye this year. They are that talented from top to bottom, and we've seen the reserves come in and not skip a beat. So it's going to be tough to knock them off.
The Lobos are a team that has scored again in every quarter. You look at 12 points, 8 points, 3 points, and we've just continued to see them shine here as well throughout what this particular contest has been. The fourth quarter is the only quarter they haven't scored in, but for Andy Delabar, that's going to be just fine because of what they were able to do early in this game. As you don't see a number 53 too often running the ball at any level, so you got to check down who that is. Freshman Tucker Jones, a 5'10", 170, get his name into the line column here for the Lobos.
That's one of my favorite parts of 9-man football. Who needs numbering rules? Let anybody wear any number and catch the ball. It doesn't matter. I don't care if number 62 is catching a pass. That's fine.
Now we're talking 6-man, I think, a little bit too, Nathan.
That's
who's
right.
there. Second down upcoming for the Lobos. Under 2 minutes to play for LaMoure Litchville-Marion here is into the contest now at quarterback as Thiel just handoff goes the aforementioned Jones, who gets to about the 32-yard line as Reamer is there on the tackle. 3 yards on the gain for Jones.
A couple things you're looking for here when you run your second team. You're looking for clean snaps, clean handoffs, no penalties, and nobody gets hurt.
90 seconds left to go before we get to our post-game show. Final numbers, some post-game sound as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and then we'll get you set for what the Lobos and the Raiders have coming up, and also what we have coming up on your live event. And a reminder, we started a coaches show every Wednesday night with Joe Lancello at 7 o'clock, so area coaches, volleyball, football, we'll get to some soccer, hockey, basketball, more throughout the season. Third down here, handoff goes to Jones, and Jones gets to about the 34-yard line for about a yard, maybe 2. And you look back on the side, and we said it, they needed 1 first down here for the Lobos to run out the clock. And more than likely, I would assume we would see the Lobos try to go for it here. And if they don't get it, there will be about 20-some seconds left for Maple River to have maybe 1 crack at the end zone. When you get to this point of view, both coaches want to come out healthy, whether it's reserves or the first string. Lobos with some more depth than what Maple River has when you just look at the sidelines, as we're seeing the Lobos with some fresh new faces again in at most positions here for LLM. So 24 seconds left in the fourth quarter. They will need their own 38-yard line for the first. Lobos go under center, play action, keeping it's going to be Theolgis. Theolgis now will go to about the 35, get a yard there, and that'll make the turnover on downs at 11 seconds. Theolgis will finish with 7 carries for 22 yards. A leading rusher for LaMoure Litchville-Marion was Lesko, who did most of his damage in the first half. 8 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown, but Hansen a $189 through the air, and Ness, again, 5 receptions, 122 yards, and 4 touchdowns for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. Raiders will come out. The Lobos will go on. Potentially final play of the game here, which started just after the 7 o'clock hour. About a 40-minute delay in terms of the lightning strike. And we're going to have this one wrap up before the bottom of the hour here at 9 o'clock, as the Maple River Raiders will come out with Silling under center. We'll see if he possibly just takes a quarterback knee to finish his contest off. He does, and that'll be your final. LaMoure Litchville-Marion, the Lobos, show why they are the preseason favorite with a 50-0 win here over Maple River. Nathan, before I allow you to go talk to a player or a coach, just final thoughts on this 4-quarter football game. As we got the cannon going off in the background, which I think surprised everybody.
See that on camera.
Yes.
No, like I said, LaMoure, if anything happens, they seem like they got the reserves to be able to step in and handle things, so they'd be able to absorb any type of injuries. They're solid. Let's see what happens between now and next week. Like you said, big jumps can happen between week 1 and week 2. You're going to find out what you're good at, what you need to clean up, and move forward.
That again is Nathan Hoots. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, final look at the numbers. We'll get to some post-game sound and more. Stay with us as we'll get to our RDK Enterprises Play of the Game and our Enbridge Player of the Game. That's still to come on your live event.
Triple E Incorporated in Page is cheering on the Spartans as they compete both on and off the field. You've put in the effort to build a team with trust, experience, and the ability to accomplish your goals. The team at Triple E Incorporated is built the same way, with knowledge and experience that you can trust to get the job done with timeliness and efficiency. For your next non-residential building project, contact Triple E Incorporated 701-668-2258 or stop by the office in Page. Make your next project a winner with the team from Triple E Incorporated of Page, cheering on the Finley Sharon Hope Page Spartans.
From all of us at Enbridge, thank you.
Thank you.
Miigwech, and thank you for working on Line 3 replacement.
Thank you to everyone who supported this project.
Construction is complete on a new and safer pipeline that will deliver the North American energy that we all rely on every day. And it's done thanks to the support and hard work of thousands of people. I'm grateful for every single voice of support and every hour of labor put into this project. Thank you.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting what's important in life.
Your hometown agent, Tatum Brand, would like to wish the Lobos the best of luck this season.
Hope Page Public Schools are committed to the development of all students by providing a high-quality education that is reflective of the strong values in our communities. The staff at Hope Page Public Schools work each day to enable and inspire students to achieve academic excellence and make positive contributions to our world. Learn more about Hope Page Public Schools by visiting hope-page.k12.nd.us. We are Hope Page, and we will change the world.
Farmers, are you expanding, upgrading, or want to automate? Visit with the experienced staff at Hope Electric to learn about the latest electrical systems and the newest technologies that they have developed to make your operation more efficient. Get a custom system in place with features like iPad truck loading and remote view grain storage, touchscreen controls, hazard monitoring systems, and wireless cellular cameras to protect your assets. Hope Electric, serving the agricultural and commercial industry since 1978. Visit hopeelectric.com or call 701-945-2460.
There's another way to...
Back here on our post-game show, we'll put a bow on this one. First things first, though, Let's get to our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game. Enbridge Energy for Life. Learn more at enbridge.com for opportunities. Our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game. And I think it's going to be very tough as Nathan, again, I will let you, when the players come, we'll grab post-game sound. But I think it's very tough to maybe not go with the senior Colton Ness for just kind of the night he had. Again, over 180 yards, 5 catches, 4 of those being touchdowns.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. And you can see whenever things didn't quite go their way and they were forced into some type of a third and short or a fourth and short situation, he was getting the ball. And it was just a matter of whether or not the Raiders could stop him. And unfortunately for the Raiders, it just didn't happen tonight.
And unfortunately for us, the rain is coming down, so you're getting soaked a little bit more down there. But Colton Ness is, again, our Enbridge Energy Player of the Game. Energy for Life. Learn more at enbridge.com for career opportunities. We go from there and we'll get to our RDK Enterprises Precision Play of the Game. And you could probably go defensively was maybe Tim Hart with the pick 6, but I also think at the opposite side, you can probably go with Colton Ness in a big receiving touchdown that he had as well, 2 receptions for a reception for 60 yards and a touchdown that happened at the end of this one. But right now, as Nathan Hoots is getting ready, let's give that microphone and headset over to Coach Delabar, and then we'll hear as well from Colton Ness here in a moment. But as we get Andy Delabar with us here on our post-game show, Andy, first things first, as you take a look over here, you said it was going to be a benchmark type of a game. That's what you wanted here in game number 1. You're able to get a nice start to the first half, 5 scores, 5 possessions. You had to deal with a lightning delay, so welcome to North Dakota and spring and fall as it's raining in the football field on top of you. But overall, for 4 quarters, what'd you see from you guys in game number 1 here, Andy?
A good football game that we played against a really good football team here at Maple River. We came into this game expecting a hard battle, a tough physical team, and that's certainly what we saw tonight. I got to give a lot of credit to Maple River. They're a good football team, and I think for us, we looked at that standard that we want to set for ourselves and just not settle, but look to see how we can improve after watching the film and just going into next week.
For you particularly, I know we could talk about Anthony, we could talk about Colton, but I would be remiss to not bring up the Wendells, the Wyatt Waits, the Garrett Hebels. They were just flying everywhere offensively and defensively. What does that core mean to this team?
It's the core, just like you said. It's those guys that make those plays. They don't maybe get all the accolades or get the credit for the tackle, but they're in the right spot at the right time and doing their job and what they're supposed to do to help us win a football game.
Hey, final thing for you, Andy. Game number 1 to game number 2, we always talk about that's when you see the biggest maturation in a football team. Hopefully you came out of here all right from the injury standpoint as well, but what's the thing that you will be working on here going into game number 2 against Enderlin coming up a week from tonight?
Yeah, I think just shoring up our defense a little bit more, just being in the right spot, being able to adjust against the passing team to the run game. And offensively too, I think just keying in on our blocks, finishing blocks, blocking in space. We really will tell when we watch the film, but overall we're pretty excited, pretty happy with the win, and we're going to get better here next week.
Want to know on the season, Andy, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck for the rest of the year.
Hey, you bet.
Andy Delabar, head coach for LaMoure Litchville-Marion, as well. Allow him to pitch this one off and get ready for one of the seniors here in Colton Ness, a senior again, finishing by our standards of what we had him down. 5 receptions for $122 and 4 touchdowns. Colton, first things first, congratulations on the win to start the senior season as well. What did you see from your team here for 40 minutes of football here tonight?
We were just explosive from the start. We knew what we needed to do. We this whole week we've been game planning for this game, so we went out and showed that.
Take us through that 60-yard touchdown. You kind of go up the seam there, and once you're able to get the ball in space, it seemed like you got the afterburners. What was going through your mind when that play was called, and then once you saw the ball coming your way?
Well, we had 2 plays calls there. Isaacson, our coach, called it from the sideline because he saw something open. So once I took off, I caught the ball, and I just knew I had to get to the end zone.
For you specifically, the guy behind you, and Anthony Hansen, he had to wait behind Corbin Potts, and obviously because Corbin was the dude, we know that, but when Anthony Hansen got his opportunity, what'd you see from him here as a starter here at the varsity level?
He's a great player. We've played football growing up all the time, so we knew we had chemistry, and he's just a really great player.
Final thing for you, Colton. Andy Delabar said he wanted to see this as a benchmark game for game number 1. Obviously, we know what happened last year. This is a whole new season. Did you feel like you met that benchmark as a team in terms of what the coaches and maybe what you as seniors have for aspirations this year?
We can always improve, but this was a good stepping stone. We came out, put up a goose egg on them, didn't let them score, and put up 50 points. So that was a good game.
Hey, Colton, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck throughout the rest of the year,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
And again, Colton Ness, the tight end, the senior at 6'2", at 190 pounds, with 4 receiving touchdowns here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion. And he had those because of the senior quarterback and Anthony Hansen here, as well as Anthony joins us here on the post-game show. Anthony, I got to ask you, what's it like throwing to a guy like a Colton Ness down the middle of the field? Because I feel like you just got such a big area to throw to him that you just can't miss, man.
Yep, exactly. Like, he's just such a big target. It's not easy to miss him.
For you, what were kind of the nerves, or what was it like from camp to game week to finally getting out and being the starting quarterback here for the Lobos? How'd you think it went for 4 quarters?
I think it went pretty good. We were obviously ready for this game. Like, we've been practicing 2 days the first week, or 2 times a day. So we were really ready for this in conditioning ways. So, yeah.
I know the offensive line maybe doesn't get enough credit at particular times, obviously, but Wyatt Wade, Brock Wendell, Ryder Wendell, what's it like with those 3 guys blocking for you? Then you got Ness and Steffes on the outside. It seemed like they kept you clean for a good chunk of the night here, Anthony.
Oh, yeah, they certainly kept me clean. It's awesome when you got big guys like that are in the trenches.
Final thing for you, what do you hope to gain from this game moving forward throughout the rest of this 2022 campaign, Anthony?
I just want to work on the mistakes that we made today, get better, and that's it.
Hey, Anthony, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck throughout the 2022 season. Anthony Hansen with us here for LaMoure Litchville-Marion as the Lobos win it again, 50-0 over at Maple River. Let's take a look at the final numbers in this one as we get ready to sign off. The Lobos would finish with just under 300 yards of offense, 189 through the air. Anthony Hansen, 9 for 13 for 189 and 4 touchdowns. Rushing, they had 104 total yards rushing. They were led by Lesko with 8 carries for 42 yards and a touchdown. Colton Ness again, 5 receptions for 122 and 4 scores. On the opposite side here for the Maple River Raiders, they would finish with 136 yards of total offense, 57 on the ground, 79 through the air. T. Silling, 8 of 17 for 79 yards and 2 interceptions. Hovelson, 9 carries for 25 yards. Hovelson also had 4 receptions for 38 yards here for Maple River. The Lobos got out in front early, and they never kept going, even after a 40-minute rain delay. It was the Lobos 12-0 after 1 quarter. They put on 30 points in the second, 8 points in the third, as they win it 50-0 here over Maple River. Our RDK Enterprises precision play of the game again. Tate Mark, Colton Ness, the pick 6 by Tate Mark and Colton Ness with that 60-yard receiving touchdown. The Lobos 1-0 on the season, play at Hendrickson Field against Enderlin coming up a week from tonight. Well, for Maple River, they will play in Colfax against Richland coming up a week from tonight. A reminder, we will have all the home games for Maple River football right here on your live event. On behalf of Nathan Hoots, I'm Chase Miller. Thanks to Mac Robinson as well. You can rewatch this game on yourliveevent.com. Thank you very much for tuning in, and make sure you patronize those sponsors. Without them, we would not be here. Make sure for complete games coming up a week from today, go to yourliveevent.com for game action. We will have 4 or 5 more high school football games in North Dakota, and we have the Your Live Event Coaches Show as well every Wednesday night at 7 with Joel Ansello. In Hope, good night from Hope, North Dakota, as the Lobos continue to ride with a win at 50-0 over the Raiders.